Hey, welcome everybody to the episode 5 of the Brilliant Minds of Idiots. Yes, 5 of them. It's 5 of them.
Where have I been?
I am your host, Zero. I am here with some goons. I'm here with Ghost.
What up?
I'm here with Rio.
Yo.
And we are introducing a new idiot because the Ivory Queen, BK, is not here today. Yeah. So we got Showtime. Show's here.
What up? What up? Glad to be on.
Give you one of those as well. Episode
right
5.
Off the bat.
Episode
right
5. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Gotta welcome him in, make him feel comfortable. You gotta rock the baby to sleep. You know what I mean? How's everybody feeling today?
Good.
Feeling good.
Pretty chill.
Okay, yeah, that's your mode though, Show. You just always chill. You know what? Man, this is perfect because Show and Ghost are the same person if you separate them by 15 years. Just single, maybe not as single anymore, but you know what I mean? All just really chill, just kind of do your thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always available because y'all ain't got no life, but it's always busy though. Yeah.
Busy but available.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
To the right people.
Yeah.
It's
To the
just
right
no,
people.
Yeah.
It's no real obligations. They got obligations, but no real obligations.
Yeah, to the
Other than
bar,
work.
to the club.
Working bills. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone always gets busy on Valentine's Day, right, guys? yeah. Look at you. Oh, my phone broke.
Silence from the two married guys, though. Silence.
Yeah. Rest in peace to my Valentine's Day. Okay. So, all right. Everyone's feeling good. Let's get right into it. Anybody watched the Micheal Jackson doc?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that watched it. I'm the one that does any motherfucking legwork for a show.
It's
cold.
But you knew this coming in, so.
Definitely did.
It's all right.
You knew the
I definitely
expectations.
did.
Yeah.
We're
All right,
here
so I
for you.
guess look, I don't want to take up all. So how's everybody feel about Micheal Jackson in general, based on the fact you guys haven't seen the doc? How do you guys feel about Mike as the weirdo and the person he is?
He's a pedophile, in my mind.
Okay,
That's a pretty direct, concise, strong.
How do you really feel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Show, how you feel about Mike?
Guy's weird, but I like his music. That's all I can say about him.
Ghost.
I feel like that's a 95%. I mean, I don't know. I guess the documentary is trying to point out some past discretions, bring them back up with some specific cases. I didn't see it, obviously, but I guess I just feel the same way. He's gone. I don't really seek out his music, but if it comes on, I'll listen to it. But yeah, great music, great musician. I think everybody knew at some point, whether it's this or something else, that something's off with him. But I don't care enough to really watch the stories and to see exactly what went on. It's just not important to me, especially now.
Yeah.
I have two big parts because I watched the first. It's a 4-hour doc. I watched the first 2 hours of the doc.
See, I could have.
That's rough.
So the meat and potatoes of the doc are there is 2 gentlemen who are claiming sexual abuse by Mike. Now, the other people in this documentary are both of the gentleman's mother, a sister of one of the gentlemen, and a grandmother of the gentleman in the first 2 hours.
When you say gentlemen, let me clarify. Younger gentlemen? Or
No, they are in their 30s at this point because they were young.
I mean, were they?
They were young when
Okay.
all this happened
Gotcha.
with them. So the 2 bigger things I have about this doc is there's nobody outside of this family tree that speaks. There's look, when we watched the R. Kelly doc, not to compare the 2, but they're both pretty nasty. Go ahead.
I think I heard that the two guys that were on the show, they actually testified in court, saying the opposite of what they're saying now.
Yeah.
They actually testified against another gentleman who brought up sexual allegations against Mike. They testified that none of that stuff happened.
Yeah. See, so for me, even though in my mind, he's a pedophile. I think these guys should be discredited for that fact. You've already went on the record and said
Exactly.
he didn't do this stuff. So, I mean, if that's your truth, I mean,
I'm gonna give them the nasty siren. I'm gonna give them the nasty siren, but for two reasons though. The first issue I have with the doc in general is that it's all one sided. You didn't like when we heard from Robert. When we heard from Robert, we had his tour manager, somebody else who assisted in making this stuff happen. We heard from his brother with all the defenses he came out with. He had his defenses kind of still incriminated Robert, so there was no real defense for him. Yeah. The issue I have with this doc is, number one, it doesn't address any of the things that I kind of want to address with these two gentlemen. Like, one of them wanted to do the Micheal Jackson Experience choreography. He didn't get the job, and that's when he flipped. The other dude kind of needed money, and his family saying some of his family saying none of this happened, but his mother and him are saying that it happened. So the issue I have is none of that stuff is also with Rio's point. Both of these gentlemen
flipped.
Both these gentlemen were on the defense side against previous allegations against Mike. So my issue with, if you wanted to be credible of some sort, you should have at least addressed the elephants in the room to get people who may be on the fence on your side to realize what was in your psyche, or what was your thought process.
And that was my question, because I didn't see it. Did they at all come out and say? Because usually a lot of times that's what will happen, because they know that question is going to come out. So from what you've seen or all of it, did they address at all why they testified what they did before? Why they said that before?
I didn't watch the second 2 hours. So this is all just a rough estimate of what is the rest of the doc, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could watch the last 4 hours. You guys can watch the 4 hours, and we all can come out with something different. So we all reserve the right to change our minds.
Yes.
Right. With more information, but
I probably won't.
But the issue that I have, okay, all right, Ghost. But what I'm saying is I didn't see on a social media feedback. I didn't see anything that showed me that watching the rest of the 2 hours of the doc, I was going to get those answers to those questions. I felt like they just avoided all of those, which doesn't give any credibility to me. Personally.
Yeah, when you start with, like Rio said, the low credibility because they witnessed on the other side before, and then also usually the thing is, and it just sucks for the real victims, and they might be real victims.
And they may be real victims. I'm not discrediting them.
I definitely wouldn't say that because I don't know, but it also sucks that sometimes the timing, people think, oh yeah, you need to get that closure, and that all could be true, but this may look like it has some monetary. When I'm looking on the outside and they flipped and are saying something different, and they need some money, and they've had some things you mentioned where
selling books,
right? So I mean, it looks bad. The optics aren't great. So
I'll also say this: Mike ain't the dude I'm caping for. You know what I mean? Like, Mike is a weirdo, so it's not like I'm putting any of this stuff past him.
It's easy target.
But what I'm saying is in order for me to crucify a gentleman. And I mean, he's not here to defend himself, right. And the fact they didn't have any proof in anything that I saw was just recounts of stuff that happened, and then there was other people who came out and said it didn't happen like that, and all the other stuff was true, but the sexual stuff didn't happen. Corey Feldman came out, and then he retracted his defense. I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything. I didn't necessarily know why. My issue is these two gentlemen, and that was it. It was just anybody who's associated with these two gentlemen, that was it. There was no tour manager. There was no business manager. There was no maid. There was no, there was just nothing else other than these two gentlemen, which I'm glad they got their story out in the universe. Yeah. I am. But as I watched the documentary, I just kind of felt like maybe this is more of riding the coattails of the climate of today, where we're just trying to get all these motherfuckers out the paint, period. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what kind of evidence you have on it. It doesn't matter anything. You're just trying to kill people. Which what Rio said off mic in, you know what I mean, our dumbass drinking pre-show meeting. That kind of tired of this motherfucking court of public opinion shit. I saw a ton of people wearing Gucci on, you know what I mean, within the last week, as if we weren't boycotting them. But then again, like we said previously, shout out to Jan and Walla Walla Washington or whatever I said on episode 1. Nobody really cares about boycotting shit. Nobody cares about change. Everyone's just trying to go for likes.
Yeah, just getting their voice out there. Get the, like you said, the post likes, and it's just about the social media status and piggybacking someone else's, complaints or gripes about an artist or whatever industry it may be at that time. It's
Trying to get famous.
pretty pathetic. Yeah, Instagram famous or Facebook famous, whatever it is. But
I'm trying to get podcast famous, by the way.
yeah,
I'm being 100% transparent. I'm trying to get podcast famous. I'm trying to put this sexiness in your ears.
it's working.
Don't look at me like that, Rio.
I just don't know how sexy it is.
Yeah, you know exactly how sexy it is.
It definitely isn't this
It's
sexy.
this sexy.
No.
Oh, yeah. You ready? And just like that, it's over. Just like that, it's
That was
over.
quick.
I don't want to get too serious on Mike because Mike wasn't that serious. He was a weirdo, so I don't want to get that serious. Once
I
again,
don't think there's any need to defend him.
no.
Quite
I was just
honest.
critiquing the doc.
Yeah, just the history of who he is as a person and all the question marks that surround him. I think it just felt like a money grab almost for these people. They saw the R. Kelly thing and
Absolutely.
For
they're
HBO
just-
as well.
Yeah, they just jumped on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. How you feeling? How you feeling, Show?
Pretty good.
No, about Michael? About Michael?
Pretty
Whoa!
good. He likes
He's
him. He
okay.
likes him.
So I like him.
There's
Good
good.
about Mike, huh?
Oh, I thought you meant about me.
No,
I
I know
thought
how
we
you
moved over
always
Mike.
feeling.
No,
I know.
it's still on Mike
I know
all
you
the
for
time.
some years now. I know exactly what space you kind of live in. So I wasn't going. I mean, we
Yeah, but-
got that out in the beginning of the show, baby. Come on now. Yeah. How you feel about Mike? Like, is there anything that could happen? Not proof, because there's no proof in the doc.
Yeah.
No proof. Is there anything that can sway you off of listening to Mike's show about or his music?
His music, nah, man.
Okay.
It's man. He was a good entertainer, and then he was a good entertainer, obviously, to other.
I mean, he did hang a
Situations.
He did dangle an adopted baby out off the balcony.
His own son, right?
That's not his own son. He was his adopted son. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, his
But it's not
adopted
his
It's
son.
not his son.
He still was the black dude. You could bleach your skin or whatever, but your new babies got to be mulatto. They can't just be blonde hair, blue eyed babies.
It
That's not
doesn't
how it
matter.
works.
Whoever he
No,
says
no,
his
we're just
kids
talking
are.
about DNA. I'm not saying who he claimed. I still look at Blanket and Paris as his children
Okay.
because he claims them as his children. But don't sell me on them being DNA related to him.
Yeah.
That's not no.
Who's ever trying to sell that other than Mike?
Them, the kids.
They've been told by their dad their entire life that was the case.
The truth could come out at any time, man. You know what I mean? Truth could come out any time.
They walk down the street and somebody said, "That's not your dad."
I mean, that's their dad, but you
It
didn't come out of
shouldn't
them
matter.
balls. That's all I'm saying.
It shouldn't matter either way.
Yeah. To them, it shouldn't matter.
Fair enough. I can rock with you on that.
I just have to say
social
that.
media likes. Social media likes. My wife came to me yesterday and we had an interesting discussion about charity and people posting charity online. And her issue was, if you're really doing it for charity and to make that person feel good, you shouldn't feel like you have to make them into entertainment by posting it and putting it out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever else you put it on. And I told her, what if these people do it 99 times and you only see the one time? Is that how do everybody feel about recording your good deeds and putting it out for the rest of the world to see?
I think it's almost it's hard to know unless it's a repeated. It's hard to know what their intention is, because sometimes it's just we're in a recording era as far as putting stuff on social media, where whether it's good, bad, it's a sad time. It's we're in a recording era, so they might want to have that family's reaction and be able to look back on it and remember that moment. But she might be right. They just might want the publicity too. It's hard to tell which one. I'm able to separate them if I have my opinion for each situation, and if I think they're doing it just for the publicity, then I'm glad that at least that family, that charity, got some money, some whatever, clothing, house, whatever it is, and then the person I may or may not still like them. So I can still have both sides. I can be glad for the charity, still not like that individual person, but I really don't know what the intent is, so it varies, but I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that it's on, that they put it on blast, really.
Yeah,
What about
that's
you?
how exactly I see it. If they're posting it on social media, it is the era of social media.
Yeah.
So, century.
Everything's on social media. So.
A lot of people,
Except for Ghost.
there are those.
What's Twitter?
You guys ever seen those Facebook things where like people put donations in, you can add money to it now?
Yeah, people are requesting.
requesting for money
yeah,
to
I actually
add.
haven't seen
So
it.
it's
I
like,
share those.
it's-
That's my donation.
So,
Never saw it.
like you said, it's like in the recording era, it's them adding other people around them to the charity. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
They're
just
trying
a
to get-
person.
they're just
You know what I
trying to
mean? They'll
get-
give like a homeless person some food, and the homeless person will be so grateful, and you know,
The reaction, and
yeah.
it brings awareness. If it's a more like an actual charity, like a kid's hospital or something like that, then somebody might see that and see that, oh wow, that's a good charity, and now you got more
Now you got more.
donated. Even if they had bad intentions, you can't be mad at more
And now,
awareness to that
now if
charity.
you hit the like button on it, then it'll show somebody else on somebody else's page that, hey, look what I did.
Exactly.
What about you? What about you, Rio?
I mean, I feel the same way. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, I mean, I could sit here and criticize you for it, but as long as you're doing a good deed, that's all that really matters to me. So if you keep going out and giving shoes away or giving meals away, blankets away, whatever it is, I mean, keep doing your thing. But looking at it from a person who would maybe want to be critical of that, if that's how you feel, just don't like the video or don't, share it. That's your way of, protesting that type of person.
Yeah, I feel like it's very. I don't necessarily know if it's maybe the era we're in or the way the world
is. It definitely is.
Because let's be honest, it's not like there's not a plethora of negative things that are on social media in order to get
ton of it.
likes and or bring awareness. So my thing is, why would it matter if you're doing something positive for likes in general?
Exactly.
I mean,
If you're doing something positive, why can't you get reward? I don't know why you can't get rewarded for likes. I mean, people do negative stuff. What was that Bonk do? Bonk gang?
Boot gang?
Yeah.
That dude was
Yeah, where he would just go into like Ghost. Okay, so what Bonk gang would do, because you don't watch internet like I do, or regular
He was
people.
on World Star. You ever go on World Star?
I do
Or,
not.
I mean, we're gonna bleep
So what he does is he would go into like Dunkin' Donuts and he would steal like a whole tray of donuts. He'd walk out and everything would just end in boot gang. Or he would go into a liquor store and he would just like knock over 2 aisles worth of stuff and boot gang and run out. Or he'd walk into Subway, he'd walk behind the counter and he would just like throw the sweet onion chicken teriyaki on the floor and yell boot gang and run out. And he got famous off of that. Like he got famous off of doing terrible stuff.
It's so sad too. So sad.
That's just that's the era.
So if you're doing it by giving if you're getting famous by giving
That's
a
funny,
child
though.
some shoes,
It's kind of funny.
no,
I mean,
it's funny.
I didn't
It's
see
funny
it,
the
so it's
first
funny.
time. No.
This is the first time
Until
I heard
you're
it.
that
This is the
target
first time I
worker.
heard
Okay,
it,
fair
so
enough.
it's funny.
Fair enough. You won that one barely.
Until you're that Target worker having to pick all that shit.
Yo, if
Yeah.
I'm working at Dunkin' Donuts, I'm chasing him down.
The act is dumb. I mean, it's stupid. But I
chasing
mean,
him down.
to hear the story the first time is kind of.
So
I mean,
so by giving an underprivileged child some shoes because you rock the newest Jordans and you know this dude would appreciate them, and catching his reaction and putting it on, social media and getting likes off of it and getting millions of views off of it. How does that really turn into funds? How does that really turn into money if that's all you did?
But let's also add that you're also assuming that all of those videos are recorded, are set up to be recorded by the person who's actually doing the act, as opposed to somebody who's just spectating it and like, oh wow, this is really cool. And it's also the age that we live in. Whenever you see anything, either good or bad, you're more than likely than not to pull your phone out and record.
But I think I think the whole outlook is pessimistic.
Yeah, exactly.
To think that anybody's doing something nice for just the views is pessimistic just in general.
But
yeah, definitely. But I'm just poking holes in that.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
feel you. The pushback.
It does happen for sure.
For sure.
But what I'm saying is, there's no way.
What's the negative?
There's no way.
What's
to
the negative in
separate it.
putting out the positive energy?
Right. There's no negative. The negative is if you're dissecting it, you can look and say that person, if you know, and sometimes you don't know, but sometimes you kind of think that this person is doing it just to show that. Because if you have a bunch of money, it's easy to say it's once a year, give some money to some charity, do an event or whatever, and want just to say I'm a good person. And some people do it. Here's another angle. Some people, and we talk about this all the time with R. Kelly or some other people. So some people might do, and I don't want to bring R. Kelly into this, but some people might.
Don't bring R. Kelly into the charity. You dropping some dick off.
But yeah, to the kids.
At the play ice cream, McDonald's
Ice cream truck.
Yuck.
So,
To the
but
kids.
some people might have some. Some people might have some bad publicity. Like say we're talking about athletes or celebrities. Exactly.
You got the nasty sirens.
Some athletes, celebrities, whatever, people who are famous, they might have something where you're looking at them negatively because they had a certain opinion, whether it be political or on the field, off the field, in a movie, interview or whatever. And now all of a sudden you see them doing this charity. So in that way, I can kind of see how, because that's one of the angles where you can see, okay, you just got caught doing what, now
Like
all of a sudden
Kaepernick?
you love the kids, so that's different. Whoa, Kaepernick.
Yeah, what you mean? What you mean?
Uh-oh.
What you mean?
You just opened the
Show?
I mean, everybody sees him as negative, right?
Oh, okay.
And then
I
he's
think it
still,
depends on. I
he's
really
still
think
out
it
there
depends on who
promoting
voted.
good things.
Yeah.
It's
It
kinda
depends
like
on,
that.
I think he's always been promoting.
Boy, you about to get roasted. You about to get a boy. You about to get, no, I kid. I was kidding. I was kidding.
But I think the people that criticize him don't really open their eyes to what he does good. They're blind to all that. They don't notice it whatsoever. So
they don't
they
want to.
only see.
Yeah.
the
Well,
You focus on whatever side you're on.
But this is interesting because we have a veteran on the show. And yeah, no, don't look behind you, Ghost. No, we're talking about you. So you're a veteran. So a lot of people say that his fight or his demonstration was disrespectful to troops.
Right.
And I know this show is very serious right now. We haven't really gotten
really
any
is.
jokes, but they're coming. Just buckle up. We're just trying to get the professionals out here. Let you know that we're multifaceted.
We do it all. We
Yeah.
do it all.
So Ghost, me, you, and Rio have had this conversation a while ago about how you feel about as a veteran and as somebody who
It's black.
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 Also, now you're a little light skin, a little light brown, a little banana, a little banana. A little.
About the same as Cap, so it don't really.
Okay, fair enough.
Very true,
Fair
very
enough.
true.
He got a better hairline than all of us in this motherfucking room. No, Show got him.
Yeah, Show got
Show
that.
got him,
Show
but
got
no,
the hairline.
everybody else got. He's showing us up on the hairline.
Yeah.
But so, how do you feel about Cap and the whole demonstration and how everything was going in general?
When it first happened, I didn't even. It's funny because they didn't really show it as he sounded the cooler the first time, and they kind of showed him, but I don't know if he's just I don't know what's going on. I didn't know it was a. He was trying to stand up for
groin
something.
injury?
Right. I didn't know what it was.
I would have one if I was dating Nessa too. I have all kind of groin injuries. Be pulling all kinds of stuff. You gotta keep it. You know what I mean?
He had a long night.
Yeah, me too.
Pre-game.
Yeah.
The pre-game. But I mean, I didn't like it when he first did it. I thought there was better ways, and you hear the other side says that, which I strongly disagree with. But they say that you shouldn't use your sports platform for political views or to get your message across, which I think is the stupidest thing because you're using your platform to talk about him, and he's not part of politics. So, but I disagree with it as a veteran. I wasn't in at the time he did it, but
I thought you weren't.
I think I was just out.
Yeah, I think you. Yeah,
But,
you might have been
but
just
either
out.
way, I mean, I thought he could choose a better way to do it, and naturally you look at it as disrespectful to the military because even though Anthem is about more things, it's still you kind of think about it as a military. But then I got more information, so I could have been closed-minded like I think a lot of people are and just not look at any of the other facts. Everything against him right now is simply saying he's anti-military, or it's saying that he's disrespecting the flag, saying he's trying to be a martyr and just get money. Everything is saying just focusing on that one act. But then if you follow it and you see that he's visiting, Africa and he's giving shoes and stuff to people. He's bringing cops as well as inner city youths together to try to
in the Know Your Rights camp.
Yeah, a bunch of different things that some channels or sources won't admit he's doing.
Did it change your view when you heard that he met with Nate Boyer and said, "How could I make my protest better, more respectful?"
Yep.
And Nate Boyer was a Green Beret, I believe.
Yeah.
Who Kaepernick consulted when he was sitting on the cooler, and that's when he took a knee during the anthem.
He said a knee would be more respectful, and it's still. I mean, it's just the act is going to be. That didn't really make that part better to me, but it didn't. But what made it better, or what made it tolerable for me, was that he's taking strides to actually. He didn't just do that in the social media era that we've been talking about. He didn't just post it, so to speak. He didn't just. If he just kneeled. That's the same as sending a post out.
Yeah.
That's the same as just putting a post, wanting the likes, just wanting the smoke, putting the video out there like, oh, look at me, I'm kneeling.
Exactly.
Then that's what that would have been. But after the knee and after the criticism, which is the hard part, and after the troubles in his career, because of this, which obviously happened, even though that's why he won the lawsuit. But after all that, he still is doing things and continues to now. He's got the Nike ads, but he's continuing to progress when the other side is just, they could put news out about, there's, maybe he has a point, black people aren't being treated the right way. Since right after he had that, we had a bunch of incidents that weren't talked about. They were talked about because they were news, but they weren't talked about extensively because he was still kneeling. And this is why he said he's kneeling. So what are we talking about? Ignore that. Put that to the side. Agree or disagree. The 100% fact, we don't know if he disrespected the flag. We don't know because we don't know his intentions in his head. Yeah. That's your opinion. But what we do know for 100% sure is that why he knelt is legitimate. There's things going on that why he's protesting is legitimate, and he is legitimately pushing towards change and making it better. So you can't be mad at that movement.
Yeah. Like
you can't tell somebody how to protest. In time, you can't say.
You're not supposed to like how somebody protests.
Muhammad Ali is one of the. Muhammad
exactly.
Ali refused to go to war. That's 10 times worse if you. And he is looked at as the most influential athlete of all time, like athlete.
But Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Looking back on this in 20 years, you know what side of history you should have been on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what side of history you should have been on. But I didn't want to interrupt you. Rio.
But people. What was I going to say?
My bad.
Ruined it.
People choose to ignore the fact of what he's talking about, and they just want to misconstrue the action of and say him kneeling is disrespectful to troops and the flag, but they don't even want to acknowledge what he is kneeling for. Right. And I think that's what's the most frustrating part, because if I'm willing to sit here and say, okay, yeah, I think I see your point, and you say that it's disrespectful to kneel, but let me explain to you, what's going on. And then someone who stands on the opposite side of this doesn't take the time to ever put themselves in Cap's shoes or my shoes or somebody else's and say, you know what, I think you have a point. Or if you don't think I have a point, say why. Exactly. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Because I don't really think everybody has to agree on everything. Yeah. But you should at least be able to
understand,
or at least formulate a reason why you don't agree, and be able to come down and be able to have that discussion on why you don't agree, but understand that there's nuance in it, and also understand that you can disagree on how the protest happened. And but you can't hate him for figuring out the best way for him to use his own platform to get the conversation started. Because let's be honest, the conversation was started.
Yeah.
Whether you hated it or whether you didn't in your own household, people were having that conversation.
Yeah.
I had the conversation with the guy at Lowe's who said he was protesting football, and I made sure to. I dropped my 2 cents in and pieced out, but. That just goes to show how impactful what he did was.
Dropped your 2 piece in?
Kobe.
Oh, yeah.
I feel you. What about you, Shell? You got anything? I mean, because as I know, Ghost doesn't speak for all veterans.
No.
because they're not a monolith. They're not a monolith, just like nobody's a monolith. No. That's why I hated when. That's why we made fun of it last week, but saying Black History Month was terrible because of this and that and this and that. But nobody want to talk about the first girl who got a D1 scholarship to play safety on an all men's football team. Last month. Like there was a ton of positive things that happened.
Yeah. Shout out Regina King.
We shouted out Regina King. What was that? What was that name again?
Oh yeah,
Mahershala.
Oh okay, yeah, Mahershala. Yeah,
Shyamalan.
Okay, no, you had it right the first time.
But see,
but we had all kinds of positive things that happened.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to. I mean, Jussie Smollett ain't gonna ruin it for everybody.
Cap settlement.
We'll get into it in a second. We'll get into it in a second. I didn't want to cut off show.
Yeah. Well, see, that's how I'm blending the Cap story behind this, showing the positivity out there in social media. Like, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't know exactly what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Also, I mean, this is once again, have a very diverse room. Rio is Hispanic. Ghost is mulatto, and Show is Fiji-born Indian. So we're all here from, and I'm fat. So we're all here from different, you know what I mean? We're all here from different walks of life or runs or whatever. So I feel like discord is natural, right? We're not all going to agree on every single thing on a topic. Yeah, no. But we can, if you don't think that black people are treated differently in this country, then I don't necessarily know what.
There's no need to argue.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why we need to. I can't have that conversation with you. There's no discord. Yeah. There's no discord needed because there's systematic things in place to hold a certain people down because of it. It might even be because of your race. I think white poor people get treated bad by society as well. Yeah. I think it's a wealth thing, but I think there's also racial systematic things in place. I think there's a ton of different things that are wrong, which we'll get into later in this show. Yeah. Today. Yeah. But we're gonna go ahead and move on.
Yes.
We had this trash ass lady. So what happened? Just to give you a backstory, Ghost, because I know you didn't see it or probably show. But I think me and Rio talked about it sometime this week. Yeah. This bum ass lady scammed her coworkers out of $10,000 by saying she had cancer and that she needed money to pay for her chemo and medical bills and stuff like that. And prescriptions and all this stuff. I honestly I feel like all her coworkers should be able to take her outside and run a fair fade. she should have to fight each one of her coworkers.
One after another.
Yeah, I think and there's no breaks. There's no breaks. It's just the bell rings and somebody. I think she was in her late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, you're even worse. For some
reason I was thinking she was like 50.
Okay,
60.
yeah.
No. She was younger.
You get to shoot a fair one with her.
Yeah, you get to shoot a fair one. She's of No, she was old too.
So if she was 50 or so, I'd be like,
nah, throw frozen pudding at her face.
Some tapioca.
Yeah.
So she
yeah. So
she got
that's like
$10,000
throwing a
total?
cookie at me. She'd probably love it.
Yeah, she would. I mean, if you threw a cookie at me, I told you last episode, we could be friends. And I get to know you a little bit. You know what I mean? I like the way you move.
You throw cookies at me. Yeah. So she got $10,000 total?
I believe it was over 8 years.
Whoa. She wasn't doing a good job.
I mean, she was doing terrible.
Raising money.
Well, she's taking money from regular ass people. You know what I mean?
Where'd she work? She didn't work at a good place?
I didn't see work.
7-Eleven?
Did they disclose that?
She could have been in a call center. I mean, how much money you think you get at a call center?
At 8 years?
Yeah, those regular people got bills too.
It depends on how many people are actually employed there too.
Fair enough. And where it is. I mean, if it's in the South, you're not getting paid that much.
Yeah,
true.
We live in California.
True.
California has, you know what I mean, some of the highest, higher paying jobs, but that's because our cost of living here is terrible.
Yeah.
Shout out to the people in Singapore, Thailand, Italy, because I saw the views, I saw the streams. Y'all think I told you we about to be at the Rock Nation brunch next year. They're gonna have to respect us.
Hitting that international level.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to get pounds. I'm trying to get
still
paid
not
in
going.
pounds.
I'm throwing my own. We're throwing our own brunch.
Inviting them.
Yeah.
Yo, Rio can cook too. So you know what I mean? We throw him in the we throw him. We be all. There ain't no woman here. We can be hella toxic. You know what I mean? We can't go right in the kitchen, barefoot. You know what I mean? Can't get her pregnant. You know what I mean? We just throw her smooth in there. She's part of the show.
Oh, stay tuned for the date for that brunch next year.
Yeah, stay tuned for
it's coming.
Also, we haven't really got any good questions in the McChicken challenge.
How does nobody want a McChicken?
I don't know, but my wife also doesn't want to pay for them. But I told her Rio got
I
us.
got it.
I told her Rio got us, and she looked at me like, like she just judged the fuck out of you. She judged the fuck out of you.
It's like, I think he pays his bills late.
Yes, you do. She think he's getting payday loans.
You know we're gonna pay for that, right, Zero? That's what she's telling me.
She was like, you know it's your show.
can't
I'm like, it's
trust
not
his
my
ass.
show. It's our show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame her. I've been told I look shady before, so.
The only thing I've been told is you look like you do a lot of office work for 13 hours.
That's what I try to put
minimum
out
pay.
there. It's not received well at times.
Fair enough. So
Look
yeah,
at these paper cuts. That's all I'm saying.
no, your hands way too rough to get a paper cut. Chill out. Don't act like you ain't done no landscaping at all in your life. Chill out.
I am Mexican, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Sacramento had a huge judgment nationwide with the Stephon Clark, and I know Rio wanted to discuss it today because I believe Rio and Ghost, I think I kind of toe the middle of these two.
Yeah.
But I feel like Rio and Ghost are kind of on the opposite sides of this, only because I think Ghost is looking at a little bit of a different type of nuance, and Rio's looking at a different type of nuance. Where they're both being nuanced, they're just finding certain parts of the story and of the description of what happened to be right and wrong, I guess would be the simple way to put it.
Yeah. Without a doubt, I think that is. There's no way to kind of get around it because I'm gonna tell you right now that I think it was wrong. Well,
let's recap it for people who don't know, who don't live in Sacramento.
Definitely.
I believe about a year ago,
July-ish?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe about a year ago.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman named Stephon Clark. He was an African American. He was
going around smashing windows.
Yeah, and then he ran from the police, and then he was killed.
The police or the police?
The police.
Police.
Hard po.
Yeah.
Like a po boy. Popeyes. Holla at us for
Yeah, definitely.
holla at us for
Five-piece
for an advertisement.
space right here.
Yeah, I need that. Anyway. So he was shot like 15 times. He was unarmed. The cops thought that they saw a gun in his hand, but what they saw was a cell phone, and they felt like they used the necessary force in order to, I guess in their minds, de-escalate the situation.
They had a helicopter out. He was running. He hopped multiple fences.
And he ended up in his grandmother's backyard.
Yes.
Hopping fences.
But he broke a sliding glass door before.
Yes.
Now, there was some messages that were leaked on social media. I don't know how true they were, but his baby mother.
They were used in court against him.
Okay, so his baby mother seemed like that she put what I read seemed like a false police report against him that she beat him, and it was more of a revenge thing.
And he was worried about going to jail. He was worried about going back. Yeah. But besides the fact, I don't think any of this has anything to do with that, whether or not he
they don't know
lived or died.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
The police department does not know
No.
that he had the domestic violence charge pending against him, I guess.
Yeah.
But when they went to detain him, because they did not know who he was, so that is more of a character assassination. Regardless of what you want to say, it's more of a character assassination. It's a character assassination after the fact to justify that they felt like they had to use excessive force to, or what they thought was the right amount of force.
Yeah. And it's what they do to every black man that gets shot and killed in this country. They want to bring out They want to bring out his past
And dissect
run-ins with the law.
dissect it.
Yeah.
Because when it's a white dude who gets accused of rape at Stanford, they want to talk about how his future's
His
bright,
future.
and they don't want to throw it away. But when you end somebody's life and they actually don't have a future, then it changes differently. So I'll let Rio and Ghost give their points of views on it, because I think it's very interesting, and I'd like to have that conversation here.
Do you want to start, Ghost? Or
I can start.
okay.
Sure. So I think, thinking about it, because I saw it, because it was a really long, the DA did their report, which was extra extensive on exactly what happened in the videos, and exactly how it went down. And I saw all that, and I formed an opinion fairly quickly. You just watch it and your opinion. I think me and you were on the same page as far as that the officers were. They could have handled it possibly differently. Yeah. So he was breaking windows. He was running. That's kind of the other facts. What happened was the police, two of them saw him. They were hiding behind a wall. He was 30 feet away approximately, then came to where he was a little closer. They turned the corner, saw him, took cover again. At that point, they did not have any reason to believe he had a gun, but they had their gun drawn, which is fine. They turned again, and then one of the officers yells gun, and then they both proceeded to shoot him, I believe 18 times actually, and somewhere in the back.
They both emptied their clips.
Right.
But I think he was only hit 8 times.
Okay.
But there was 20 shots fired.
Okay. So excessive force, I would definitely call that. And what was the reason is his phone, when I saw the video, they said they saw a flash from a gun. So they actually thought he had fired at them already. And what it was his phone went off. So his phone just flashed, or it was a phone. They found out later. So at that point, from my point of view, when I first saw it, I thought, okay, they had a reason to potentially fire if they didn't know what that was. I mean, at night, in the heat of the moment, and it was a anonymous caller who called it in. So at that point, I felt that was the reason. But then thinking about it after, I still think that what they did in that moment was possibly justifiable. However, since they had taken cover before, and they were like 2 feet away from that wall, I'm actually leaning more towards Rio's point of view. But as far as what should happen, I think they should have just taken cover again.
Yeah.
And saw if he was. But as far as what the punishment should be from here on, because now they've determined what the case found out is they're not going to press any charges against these 2 officers.
See, and I think it's hard. It's definitely hard to prove what their intentions were.
Impossible. Yeah.
I don't necessarily. I think it's really unfair to say that they went out that night. They got ready for work, and they said, "Today I'm gonna kill somebody." Right. I could never put that on a cop, because I mean they took the job for good intentions.
It's a large
Whether
assumption.
or not you're one of the bad apples or not, I mean you took the job with good intentions. But they definitely could have handled it differently. And just like Go said, I think they could have, when they took cover that first time, they should have had the ability to sit there and think, you know what, I'm safe right now. Let me try to. Sorry, I had a burp there. Drinking beer. Had to.
Once kept it real right there.
Yeah, real. But while they were taking cover, they should have had the ability to say, you know what, I'm safe right here. Let me try to shout some commands, get him to comply, and then if he still doesn't, then yes, it's justifiable in my eyes. But I certainly don't think there's enough evidence to convict them of murder, but maybe manslaughter. But even if and I would even err on the side of not charging them with anything, but they definitely shouldn't be able to be a cop anymore.
That's what I was going to ask you is, do you think suspension, firing, counseling, like training, or what do you think should be for them specifically?
So for them specifically, the 2 officers involved, I think they should not be able to police after that. I don't know if you can escape this this
Cloud,
this
stigma,
instance, this encounter without being damaged somewhat mentally. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I think it's unfair for the public to have a cop that's out there on the streets that could be dealing with untreated PTSD or something like that.
And of course, it happens all the time, because even a justifiable killing, if you haven't done it before, as a cop even, can be damaging. And they have to go, of course, get a psych eval and everything after. That's where I might slightly disagree. I think they could have handled the situation differently. I think we both agree with that. They could have taken cover again. They could have called for backup. They had him cornered. He's not going anywhere. So possibly they could have handled it differently. I think moving forward, them losing their job, I'm not 100% sure. I think they should definitely do the mandatory things, which they have to do now, even though they're not getting convicted, which is going to be some sort of psychiatric counseling and make sure they have regardless. But then I think on top of that, which I think should be nationwide, but specifically for them, I think they should get a long, almost like a remedial training, almost like go back to a police boot camp, so to speak. Because I think what they did, they saw a flash and they shot. It's not as bad as some of the other ones, and we're gonna, because a black person got shot, we're gonna push it to the, to if it's, we're gonna group it with the other ones that maybe were less obvious that it would, maybe the cop was at fault. So I don't know if they should lose their job, but I think if they don't pass the training, or there should be some type of test, not a field test, but some type of, make sure they make it through the training, and I think they should have a chance to get there, to keep their jobs. Now there's no punishment at all, but I think they should have a chance, in my opinion.
So I just want to weigh in, because like I said, you guys are kind of on the same side, but you guys are just arguing like small minutia almost. So I just want to give my side. So reading this case individually, upon subtracting it from the climate and the history of the police, because that's the real issue here. And I think I believe that's honestly the real debate you guys are having, is individual, one time only, everything else is okay, and taking into account the history of policing in this country in general.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm giving them every benefit of the doubt.
I think you have.
Yeah. So I'm not even bringing that into it.
No. What I mean by that is just the stance on policing in general. You know what I mean? Not necessarily this one instant, just policing in general.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm believing that Ghost is being more this situation in a vacuum. This one, and I feel like you're being more overall policing tactics.
So like the one thing I just want to add before I forget it again. The one bit of pushback that I could give to Ghost's argument as well is that when they saw the flash and that's what justified the shooting in their minds, my thought is, why are our police so quick to shoot when they see a flash? You know what I mean? Why are they so scared? Why is their finger on the trigger? I understand their life is on the line, but at the same time, you signed up for it. You know what I mean?
I understand, and also I see somebody like Ghost who had rules of engagement.
Yeah.
Just being in the military, having rules of engagement, I see that being different, because you know what I mean. You're when you're dealing with military, you're also dealing with other military, but you're also kind of dealing with other military with civilian in the middle. Whether you're talking about you know what I mean, wherever you're going, there's always going to be civilians there. So there's a rule of engagement with dealing with military people or people with guns and civilians, right? So I feel like I rock with both of you guys on this, because I see where both of you guys are coming from. I see where Ghost is just saying in this instance, it is a little murky, because he didn't obey any commands. He didn't really give off much. He didn't give off much of the energy that he was going to comply. at any point during, because he ran and then he was on a bench and then he just continued to run. And that is the opposition for people who are very pro blue lives or whatever. That's their argument. And I rock with them on that, except for the temperament of policing in the United States, where a black person, and I don't want to make
any person, because I
hear what you're saying, but it's not any person, because I see a lot of videos where there is a very quick judgment based on a person's character, based on the way they look. And there is a history of policing in this country where a black person looks a certain way and there's a threat that is inherently thought of by cops, where they do not, where the media, and whether it's hip hop music or whether it's cops or whether it's the nightly news, that all these statistics show paint black people to be a certain type of person. So I feel like media does have a lot to do with how police in this country. I feel like laws have a lot to do with people policing the way they police in this country. I feel like politicians and the representation of lower income, whether they're white or black, has a lot to do with the way people are policed in this country. So I see where both of you guys are coming from, which is why I feel like this case specifically, there's a big conundrum for me, because he did not comply. And as a black man, you have to pay the cops the black tax.
But in my eyes, does non-compliance equal death?
No, and that's where I say that as well. That's where my conundrum comes in, because like I said, as a black man, you have to do more when you interact with the cops. Yeah. But at the same time, having a cell phone, which in 2005 was new. In 2019, everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah,
so a cell phone shouldn't shock you. The flash on a cell phone shouldn't shock you, because it does not look like a gunshot.
And you have a flashlight, so it's your reflection that you shot at.
But I understand.
That's how scared you are in my eyes, that you shot at your own reflection. That's kind of how I see it. Yeah. And I see Ghost's face right now, and I know that there's more to it. But at the same time, immediately that's just how I.
But at the same time, this country glorifies having guns.
Oh, yeah.
It is the climate in this country, period, to have guns.
That's true.
And I think a lot of this has to do with the Second Amendment and how it's enforced on poor people and how it's enforced in red. Because this is not let's be honest, this is not a black-white issue. This is more of a class issue, but it's also more of a class issue in a liberal state. Right? Because this stuff happens in Texas, stuff happens in Missouri, stuff happens in Alabama, it's not a story there. It just happens. You know what I mean? This stuff's not reported in non-real democracy. Or a bigger deal's not made in I don't know what you would go, left, liberal communities, whatever it is. Because I just want to play, I am going to play a clip. And in this clip, it is a senator in Arkansas, where Arkansas was debating the Stand Your Ground law. And they were trying to pass it in Arkansas. But this black senator, who's the only senator that of color, I believe, in the state of Arkansas, had a powerful response for them creating the Stand Your Ground law. And I feel like this response to laws, because Stand Your Ground law, that kind of that's a class law. You know what I mean? Like there's not a ton of poor people who go out and get concealed and carry licensing.
In most of the stand your ground states, it's open carry, so you don't need to have a license to carry.
Also, there is statistics show that black people are statistically killed at a higher rate, and those people who kill are let off at a higher rate with no punishments because of the Stand Your Ground law. So that's kind of like a policing on a certain demographic of people. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play I'm gonna play this clip where this lady. This clip is about a minute long, but I believe it's powerful in the way that she's going after people, her peers in their state Congress or their house, whatever it is. But her response, I believe, is very powerful.
It doesn't take much to look on the local news every night and see how many black kids, black boys, black men are being killed with these stand your ground defenses that these people raise. Then they get off. So I take issue with that. I'm the only person here of color, okay? I am a mother too. And I have a son. And I care as much for my son as y'all care for y'all's. But my son doesn't walk the same path as yours does. So this debate deserves more time. I'm in Pine Bluff. We have killings regularly down there. Mr. Hunter knows, he's our prosecutor. Now, I don't know where the heck, I know where you are from, Gary. And I don't know really where Mr. Ballinger is from. But I can tell you that for a long time since I've been back here in Arkansas, I have feared for my son's life. Now, he's 27 and he's out of Arkansas. And I thank God he is when you're bringing up crap like this. It offends me. And then to limit the debate too, this is crazy. You don't have to worry about your children, Will. I worry about my son. And I worry about other little black boys and girls. And people coming into my neighborhood, into my city, saying they got open carry rights, walking down in front of my doggone office in front of the courthouse. That's a bully. Do I have a right to stand my ground with some crazy ass person walking around with a doggone gun? I don't know what the hell he intends to do. But I know I am scared. I feel threatened. Just like some of y'all walking around here up in the legislature with these damn guns. That, what's his name? Garner came in here, walking around here with a damn gun under his coat. You can see the damn print.
Senator, you need to stop.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. What the hell are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Senator.
Senator, go to hell. I'm telling you, this deserves more attention. You want to come up here with all these little NRA bills and bills that Alec have and all that stuff. I'm talking about my son's life. And I'm talking about the lives of other black kids. Do what the hell you want to do. Go ahead, but you can't silence me.
Oh,
So I'm gonna stop it there.
sure can.
And I think what I wanted to bring by playing that clip up is that no matter where you live or what community you're from, we all don't walk the same.
Exactly.
The environments, there's just the way this country, as soon as we realize that this country has its issues, and I don't want white people to feel guilty. I don't.
Yeah, no.
Because
no, I don't think so
I
either.
got a lot of white friends. I got a lot of white people I love in
Good
my
white
life,
people.
and
There's it's not saying everybody's bad.
no,
That's
it's
not
not
what this conversation's about.
It's not. What the issue I have is that 2% of the population is millionaires, but yet they make up like 75% of our legislatures. Like, how are these people who are not in touch with the reality of what goes on in every community, period? But they make all the laws and they make all the rules. But then they also take these large payouts from NRA, from what pharmaceuticals, from everything. And we allow this stuff that happens in this country, whether it's policing, which, like I said last episode, honestly, I don't think there would be as many protests against police if police were okay with getting rid of the bad ones. That's really all this is
Yep.
I understand you have to protect your brother, but if he's doing the right thing, I'm okay with you protecting him. But when he's doing the wrong thing, too many times in this world, in this state, in this country, we see a lot of people who what's right and what's wrong. And because of the profession they're in, whether they're rich millionaires or a police officer or a dirty scoundrel businessman who's quote unquote shrewd, you see a lot of people walk. Period. Doesn't matter where they're from, doesn't matter what it is, they walk. You know what I mean? Whether it's the dude from Stanford or the new dude from Baylor who got convicted of sexual assault, but only is doing probationary time because they don't feel like they want to throw his life away. Why could he threw somebody else's life away?
Yeah.
He threw somebody else's life away. Ladies, queens that are out there right now. I was going to wait till BK's on here because BK has a story herself. The Ivory Queen has a story herself. I just read a story in New York where a lady went out on her birthday and ended up leaving with a gentleman, going back to his room, ending up in 2 suitcases, deceased.
Saw that.
There was a lady in Atlanta who went to a club and a male drugged her drink, and she was on live this whole time screaming for help, and nobody in the club helped her. Wow. What I'm saying is we all walk a different life, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you're a black man, whether you're a white man, whether you're a white woman, whether you're a black woman, whether you look good, whether you're skinny, whether you're fat, whether you're all this stuff. It's not about making people feel, it's just common courtesy. It's just a decency that there's different things between the law allowing you to do something and society allowing you to do something. As a fat person, I know I walk around here with different rules. I know I do. I'm okay with my rules I have to walk around with. But when I deal with the cop, I hope I get the same rules as somebody who looks good. Hope I get treated the same way as somebody who's just a regular person.
So the one thing I really want to add is to the person who stands on the other side of this argument or this discussion. I won't say argument, this discussion, because that's what it should be.
It's not an argument. I think it's really just
be a discussion.
Yeah.
Anybody who stands on the other side of this, I would beg you to go and Google Daniel Shaver. He was a man in Arizona who was killed by a police officer. You could find the video of the whole encounter on Instagram. Just hashtag his name, Daniel Shaver. The dude was murdered by a police officer in a hallway of a hotel where the cops were called because he had a pellet gun because he was an exterminator. That was his profession. He was an exterminator. He was murdered, sobbing, begging for his life. If you stand on the other side of this topic, that's all I would ask that you do. And if you look at that video and you tell me that there's nothing wrong with policing in this country, okay, you're allowed to have that opinion. But I would ask that anybody go out there and watch those videos and see, that there are definitely issues with policing in this country, without a doubt.
I understand that, we like to blur the line on this show. It's a rough show to be introduced to the people on. This is a rough show for show. Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
Do we care about shit, or are we just here to?
Because we do
joke?
both. We do both,
Yeah.
and we'd like to blur the line between entertainment and in being an informative podcast. With me and Ghost, me and Rio, me and BK have in the genesis of this podcast, in the thought bubble of this podcast. This is exactly what we wanted, because we have me and Rio have these conversations all the time in the most inappropriate places.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
But I respect Ghosts, I respect Rios, I respect Shows, I respect Shazzy's, BK's, Pringles. He'll be an idiot introduced later. Lozo, Crystal Cream and Butter. Regardless of who you are, when I deal with you in my life and I have these conversations with you, period, I enjoy having discourse and hearing other people's views because I don't want to talk into an echo chamber of my views. Me and Ghost disagree on a lot of stuff. We disagree on the nuance of stuff.
Yeah.
We're kind of on the same side of a lot of stuff, but having somebody who is because what I want to talk about as we transition out of this heavy subject, because last episode we had a very, very good conversation about Kaepernick's settlement.
Yep.
We had it, and I had to cut it out because episode 2 got a little long, and you don't want to listen to my voice that long. So, I kind of want to get into that now, but just to put a bow, because I don't want to leave the Stephon Clark /policing /American society discussion up or open ended like this, because we're going to have this conversation again, because we're not addressing what actually needs to be addressed in this country. Period. We're just not. We like to allow certain people to gloss over and not recognize that everybody's truth is not everybody's truth. My truth is not Real's truth. My truth is not Ghost's truth. My truth is not Show's truth or BK's truth or somebody who's in Biloxi, Mississippi, or Mobile, Alabama, or Knoxville, Tennessee, or New York City. My truth is my truth. You can't tell me my truth isn't my truth. But I can't tell you that their truth isn't their truth. And the issue is we all have to realize that everybody has a different truth. And we have to be okay that people don't agree with everything we have based on our whole life situations.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is we don't have to agree in order to have a discussion and get problem solved. You might not be 100% happy with the outcome of whatever it is you're discussing or we would discuss or policy that's made. But if it's in the interest to the betterment of the majority of the population, that's what you have to roll with. I'm sorry. We'll get into trans athletes next episode. So, I just want to button it there. I think that's a good button to realize, to just try to let everybody know that everybody in this country, just because you live in America, we have a lot of different classes, a lot of different neighborhoods, a lot of different states. States have different sections in the state. You know what I mean? We live in Northern California. We don't roll like Southern California.
Not at all.
We don't roll like that.
Different breed.
It's hella different.
We also don't roll like people in the top of the state either.
I don't know what they
in
do.
the top of the state, we don't know what they do.
No,
yeah, you
we
go
don't.
up further
Literally.
north than us.
Yeah,
Shit gets
it's
weird.
a different
world.
it's a different breed than we are.
It's a different world up
You
there.
know what I mean? You could go over to Reno, you could go over to Oregon, you could go wherever you go. It's a different environment, period.
Yeah.
So to act as if your environment's better, everyone has something they can work on. So I just wanted to end it there. Unless Show had anything to
I
do.
think that deserves a round of applause. Let's hear that.
That was like I think
Yeah.
it might be. Look out for 2022
yeah,
from Mayor.
Absolutely not.
2020.
I got way too much bad shit in my history.
He's got my
Oh
vote.
man,
He's
I've been
got my
searching
vote.
all kind of
And the
midgets
social
and
media.
fat girls, and big. Oh man, you don't big whatever.
Never mind. Maybe senator then. You can probably get away.
Yeah, I
with
could
it.
be-
Yeah, you could definitely.
I ain't been in blackface.
Nah, fuck that. You could be president. You could be president.
No, I'm not rich.
Yeah, you gotta.
You only
I'm
get
just
that
saying,
shit looked
I
over.
don't know if your history matters anymore. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see after this election. We'll get into that in the January podcast. We'll get into that after the primaries. Cap settlement. Because like I said, we had a good conversation on this last week. So Kaepernick settled his collusion deal about a month ago. I saw people calling him a sellout on social media. I saw people acting as if they didn't know what this meant or where the fight goes from here. The fight was never with the NFL.
Let's get Chaz.
Show.
Let's start there.
Kaepernick settlement. I saw a lot of people calling him a sellout. I saw a lot of people calling him or acting as if the fight was over. I saw a lot of people acting as if the settlement itself was selling out, or they didn't know where the fight went from here. They didn't. There was just a lot of open-ended questions. So, Show, how did you feel about Kaepernick settling his lawsuit with the NFL?
I don't know. It's totally like
Don't be afraid.
no.
Let it out, show.
Yeah, no.
Let it out. We're just drinking beer here. That's all. It's
No,
all right.
it was. I don't know how to actually put it, but I mean,
I mean,
he
not
did what
knowing
he
how
had
to feel
do
about it, not knowing how to feel about it is a legitimate question.
Yeah,
That's a legitimate feeling.
But just air those thoughts out on both sides as to why you are undecided or kind of in the middle.
It's just because I when I see situations and topics, I always see both sides of it, and then there's always like the negative side of that side and the negative side of this side. It's just what I'm getting fed or whatever I'm reading or whatever I'm seeing. It's just that's just like I don't know what's the truth. You know what I mean?
Do you feel the
but
settlement
what do you
was a
A
cop out to
Yeah.
the struggle or to what he was to the activist, side, or do you feel that he was right in settling?
No, I still think it was for the activists.
So you think he was okay settling? You think it was, or
Well, I mean, not that it was okay, but I mean, he needed. It seemed like he needed to do something to like calm the storm that was
some
going on.
closure? Yeah.
How'd you feel? How'd you feel, Gus?
So I felt like all the criticism I think was wrong. I think I feel like people are very. It's funny how things work because he's exposed the NFL in multiple different ways. He's proven there's collusion. He showed he had Eric Reed, who was also part of the lawsuit, who plays. He proved that he had a case as well. So I don't think. I mean, what do you want? Obviously, the public wanted to hear the NFL say we messed up. But when you're suing a NFL like a beast, a Goliath like the NFL, or an entity that large, you're not going to get that. So no matter, I mean, it's not about the sacrifice of that. But he's sacrificed to this point his career, his reputation with a bunch of people, his future jobs he might or might not get. So a settlement, one, is a win because he's getting money, which means you lost if you're the other side, and two, that is to me the proof that you have some ground to stand on when you say that there was collusion in the NFL. So he proved there was collusion. They settled, which is how you win lawsuits, by the way, against big or you don't see. You don't sue these super athletes and they go all the way through the court process and say, found guilty, and it comes out. They settle, whether they did it or not a lot of times. But in the case of the NFL, look how petty Goodell is with Brady and following something like that for years. I mean, he followed Brady. I mean, he was trying to tap Steph. So for him to follow that all the way through just to get a 4-game suspension.
Yeah.
You don't think if he had a case against Kaepernick, he would have
fought to the
You don't think he's
bitter
going to fight against? He knows it's not true, and the owners know, because it's really against the owners. Yeah. And so it's against the NFL, and people make it against the NFL. But an owner could have said, "Hey, come try out for us." They didn't want that spectacle, which I kind of get. But at some point, I mean, he's a football player. He's good enough to be on a football team.
Well, he got Tim Tebow for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Just the pure football aspect of it that you were talking about now, Ghost. As a Denver Bronco fan, I will say that he could have taken what was it, $2 or $3 million less to come play in Denver with Demetrious Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders under Gary Kubiak with the heavy play action playbook. He could have succeeded.
As you can tell, he's a Broncos fan. If you didn't know what any of that stuff meant.
So I could tell you right now.
Fuck that nigga.
That he did.
Fuck
have,
all that
he
nigga.
Did,
Fuck that nigga's fibers.
No, because I told you this. I told you this shit when it happened. I told you he should have came to us because he would have balled the fuck out under Gary Kubiak.
I know that.
With those wide receivers.
Yeah, I know that.
Exactly.
But I had to play you twice.
Everybody knows. But
As a Raider fan, fuck Reed. Fuck the fiber of his soul.
But he would have been getting paid last year. He would have gotten broke off because he would have been indispensable to that team at that point in time. But anyway, moving past that, I will say anybody that does want to hate on Kaepernick's settlement, I think I said this last week.
Like I said, it got edited out though.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have it again because I thought it was a good conversation.
Because so when he lost his job with the Niners, you saw he made $1 million challenge to himself, and he donated $1 million to various charities. So somebody who's going to take their $1 million when they have no job and take that and put that back into a community, imagine what they could do with a $20 million settlement or a $30 million settlement.
Also break it down. He broke it down to show exactly what money was spent on what to add what to what charity.
He was completely transparent with it. You could go on the Know Your Rights Camp website, I think to this day, and still find it.
Yeah.
That's a great point of view that I didn't really think about is that the settlement and quote unquote cop out that some people are calling, first of all, it's a win. That's what you do when you win a lawsuit. You get money. Second of all, you now are able to put that back into the community and put it back towards good causes, which he has been doing with his money for the last 2 or 3 years now anyways. So it's not over. Like the arguments, he has a Nike commercial. He has these other things coming up on deck. But the fight's not over because the original fight wasn't with the NFL. He had a job. Yeah. He was playing. He was starting quarterback. The fight wasn't with the NFL. The fight is against, but it's against the discrimination and all those. That's what the original fight was for, and he'll continue to do that, and now has a leg to stand on.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. I don't want to interrupt you guys, but I feel like we're glossing over two big points. So I just want to interject my points. Number one, how the fuck do you know the fight's over when you don't know the terms of the deal?
Yeah.
That's a pessimistic view
true.
when nobody knows whether Kaepernick is going to get signed by the Patriots or whether or not he knows he's going to sit or stand or kneel or do whatever or however much money. Nobody knows anything. So to take that sellout role, what happens if he got paid $250 million? Yeah. You would take that when you know you can fund your Know Your Rights camp for the next 10 years and educate a lot of people.
And do so much good in the community.
My second bigger part is how the fuck do you win a lawsuit against the NFL without getting money? He did not sue the United States of America. He did not sue as a civil rights, like his civil rights were trampled on. He did not sue the state of California and the city of San Francisco. He did not sue those people. He sued the NFL based on collusion to stop him from getting a job because he took a political stance. Mm-hmm. How on earth do you win that lawsuit without getting some money?
That's what.
That's a goal of the whole thing.
That's how you win a lawsuit.
That's exactly how you would win a lawsuit, is for the NFL to say, "Yo, we fucked up. Let's settle because we don't want the rest of this to keep going because we're going to lose in general. Yeah. So let's go ahead and settle this. We'll pay you. We'll cash you out, and you'll go and be whatever you want to be."
Goodell just hit the Asian orchids of massage
with
Robert Kraft after he
just
settled.
got the handy from Cap. He got the handy from Cap and gave him the $100 tip and was like, "Yo, keep your head up. Here's a few fillet of fish." You know what I mean? Like that was the bigger issue I had with people who were down on the judgment was, what the fuck did you expect to happen when he sued the NFL?
But the other side is what they expected, which is a lot of cases that people settle. They want the bad guy, in this case the NFL, to come out and say, because money says it to us. We see that. We get that, right? Money, we don't know how much. We don't know the terms. I'm guessing 100-ish. 50,
I'm guessing in that ballpark.
Right, because it's two people. Yeah. So I'm guessing, we'll say it's $50 million. To me, that says you messed up. And it'll come out.
Can we take it one step further?
They want the NFL to say that, come out and say, we colluded, blah, blah, blah. But that's not going to happen.
But can we take it one step further, though?
Yeah.
Eric Reed got a fucking job last year and still won a collusion case.
Yeah.
What are we talking? He could just sign he signed a 3-year extension with the Carolina Panthers and still got money from a collusion case.
Yeah, that's how wrong you were.
So let me just put this out there, because the people that hate Cap, they will say this: why is it that he declined his player option to stay with the Patriots? Or not the Patriots, my bad, the Niners.
Because he was injured. And if he did not pass a physical, the last 4 years of his contract were going to be guaranteed. So what the Niners were going to do anyway was cut him.
He was playing though, wasn't he?
No,
he
no,
was
no, no.
playing
He
at
sat
end
out the
that
rest of the year with
He's-
the
yes,
What happened
with the
was
shoulder injury.
He could have stayed
that's
actually.
right. Blaine Gabbert came.
He actually could have stayed.
He could have, but they would have
His
cut him
role-
anyway.
No, they weren't. What was going to happen was his role was going to be. That was when he was kind of starting to struggle a little bit. His role was going to be. No, he was going to. They were.
No. The
There
reason
was
why
a date in
no,
April.
but the reason why they were going to cut him was because he wouldn't have passed a physical before the start of the year. And if he didn't pass the physical before the start of the year, his contract became fully guaranteed. So what he wanted to do was hit free agency early in order to create a bidding war as one of the better quarterbacks on the free agent market.
That's potentially. But there was a date in April. It was like the 1st, the 15th, whatever it is, where if he didn't get re-signed or we didn't pick up his option, he would have. I mean, he wouldn't have gotten any money. And the 49ers said they would pick it up. Now, maybe the physical was part of that. Did they know he wouldn't pass it? But if they picked that up, they would have owed him the rest of the $100 million.
Yes.
Or whatever it was.
Yes, but they still could have cut him before
Only
July
if he-
1st.
But it wasn't.
They could have
a
cut him
team
before
option.
July
It was a-
1st.
it
No,
was
no,
no,
a
but he would
player
have got money.
option.
He would have got paid, though.
No, he wouldn't got paid the full amount. He only got paid a small portion of it, and he would have hit. He
got
would have
paid the
hit free
guaranteed portion.
agency.
He had no-
He would have hit free agency after the draft and after free agency would have already been a thing. So the reason why he quit or he opted out of his contract was to hit free agency before free agency was actually started, so he can begin to negotiate his market.
So the other thing I would say is, have we heard that from Cap himself?
Yeah.
We did?
Yeah,
Okay.
early. You heard it from his agent. You didn't hear it from
Yeah.
Cap
I
because
think-
Cap doesn't speak, which
No.
is a
Which is
good
frustrating.
thing, which is a good thing and a bad thing because he doesn't incriminate himself, but he also doesn't back up his.
It's a
point.
bad thing for people like
So you allow everybody else to create the narrative for you,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But we go back to the original point of this. How did he sell out when he got exactly what you would do when you got a lawsuit?
Yeah. I think the best
Suck
point.
my
Yes.
dick.
Yes.
I'm taking my payout, and I'm going to go ahead and become on the free market back
hand
like
out
you
shoes to
can't
homeless
get
people.
mad at Kaepernick for settling his lawsuit when the NFL is admitting. Because the NFL never settles
they won't.
anything.
Not the Goodell era.
Whether well, even if it was Paul Tagliabue, but whether you're talking about the Maurice Claret, Mike Williams, whether you're talking whatever it is, they always take you to trial.
They're not backing down.
I'm a Raider fan. We watched Al Davis take the NFL to trial twice. They do not settle.
They don't.
They do not settle. But you knew that there was a huge amount of evidence.
Too many facts.
There are too many facts
Too many
to
facts.
back up Kaepernick, so they settled.
Yeah.
How is that selling out? I'm sorry. If he was going against the United States of America and he was trying to get a law created, or if he was trying to get a civil rights decree, or if he was trying to get something else,
Justice for another person.
Yes.
And he took money instead. Then
yes, then we
maybe-
have a discussion. But to sue the National Football League and 32 owners and Roger Goodell, the only way you win that is to get paid.
So,
Ignorant people will automatically see
These
a
are-
monetary payout and think that he automatically sold out
But
because
these are
he's
people
getting
who
money.
are
But
on his
that's
side.
it.
These are people on his side. Like, yo,
I know,
my
but
guy,
but
you
that's
have to
still-
know how lawsuits work in order to
No,
judge
that-
this shit.
But that's me saying ignorant people.
Yeah, I
Ignorant
guess
people
ignorant-
aren't
ignorant
understanding
people could
this.
be on both sides.
The only thing that they
Facts.
see is that he's getting a
took some money.
monetary.
Yeah.
and it's a cop out.
Yeah.
And he didn't follow it to the end, and et cetera. But that's
exactly.
just
But then
not
at the end of
true.
the day, it
wasn't.
Any logically thinking person could see that the man's going to do so much more good with the money that he got from that.
Yeah.
If you could
payout.
come up with another way that the
Yes,
he was
yes.
never here's my issue. He was never suing the NFL to get a job.
Yeah.
He was suing the NFL because they prevented him from getting a job and he needed his paper.
Or just what's the alternative?
He needed
If
to collect his coins because he made it to the bonus level and they killed his ass quick.
Yeah.
'cause
The
if-
fuck are we talking about?
If that's selling out, how does he not sell out? That's all I want to know. You know what I mean?
I would just
Fight
anybody
in
who
court
goes
for 10
against me.
years.
Anybody who goes against me, I will invite you to my dick and to suck it from the back. Because that shit is wild. You have to look. I understand you can be upset that there was no law created, or Roger Goodell didn't go to jail But that shit was never going to happen to begin with.
No.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll invite you. Limousine. I'll take you right there. So we'll take a break here. And we'll get into the mess.
We'll
get
come
into
back a little lighter.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
get
come
into
back a little
Robert's
lighter.
interview with Gail,
Oh,
with
goodness.
Oprah's bestie.
Uh-oh.
Oprah's bed buddy.
Whoa.
You know what he said.
I'd do it.
Whoa.
Who said I wouldn't?
To be Gail, yeah.
Please,
I'd
my
do it.
wife would let me do it. My wife would let me snuggle all up on
I'd
Oprah.
do it, yeah.
Getting on that old
Give me
magazine
that Oprah
cover.
money, yeah.
Yeah, I'd get on that old magazine cover. I'd snuggle all up on them cheeks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back.
We'll be back after a short break. This episode still brought to you by the Bad Kitty T-shirt boutique. Listen to this goddamn commercial from the Ivory Queen BK.
Get your boho.
Get your bohos, hoop earrings, high heels. Put the fish in the high heels. Get all that boho.
Yeah.
Yeah, bargain opportunity host.
Yeah, it's cheap too.
Is it?
It might contain lead.
Or
No, or the hurt kidding.
Or the hurt.
Bad Kitty Boutique.
Nah, Bad
all
Kitty
natural.
T-shirt boutique. All natural, all your money, all the time.
This episode is brought to you by the Bad Kitty T-shirt boutique. Cute and sassy t-shirts, tank tops, and other boho-inspired accessories. With multiple styles for men, women, and children, everyone has a place at the Bad Kitty T-shirt boutique. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
When I see people in this,
How do you
when I
determine
see
what it
people,
is?
you just hope you just take the socks off, hope for the best. Just think about something else. You just think about
I'm
something else.
telling you right now, socks, wet socks. If you just went to the restroom, that's the worst place for your socks to ever be wet. Is in the restroom.
If I hate how do people walk around barefooted in public, like when you like the public
You don't
shower
like that?
gyms?
That's
Nah, you
nasty.
get that. No, you get those organic smashes at that point. You
just
get
get
those Betty
flip-flops.
Rebels.
Yeah, you get
No, you can have dirty feet with flip flops.
no, but it's your feet are touching the bare ground. That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
hey, you ran barefooted before. You knew you were super
But
fast.
it's in the shower.
But you knew you were
No.
super fast when you were barefoot.
That's in the shower.
No, outside. You
No,
ever
that's a
race
whole
somebody
different- that's a whole
barefoot?
You
different-
just
No, I
learn to
haven't.
He's
live
talking
with
about,
that.
like,
with
You ain't
speed.
never raced nobody barefoot?
You got
I
staff and
haven't.
I don't know what
You
you're gonna
are
get, but you're
so
gonna get
you
something.
are so bougie. How you not race nobody barefoot even in your whole life? You ain't have the jets when you were barefoot.
I mean, I might have, but that's
Yo,
not
I
even
had
the same
the
topic.
jets when
That's
I
not
was
even-
Yeah, no,
barefoot.
that
I did
You never had the jets when you were
different.
barefoot either, Rio?
he's talking about the
People
shower.
are peeing in the shower. Like, what are we
Oh,
talking
no,
about?
I'm not talking about the shower.
I know, that's what we're
I'm
talking
talking about
about.
it
He's
in person.
talking about shower.
You talking
Gym
about in a public shower?
Gym
Public
showers.
showers,
Gym
people are
showers.
barefoot.
Man, I don't never take my shirt off in public.
shoes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is. No,
you
why
mean-
would I be in the shower with a shirt on?
Or you mean go to the
I'm
gym,
saying
Zach?
shoes, socks. What are you talking about? How much are you giving this guy?
I know. What is he on?
No, I said, why would I be in the shower when I don't take my shirt off?
Nobody's talking about a shirt. Where'd you get a shirt
But
from?
no, why would I be in the shower? That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't
he's
even
talking
walk
about-
through the
He's
threshold.
saying he's so fat that he never takes his shirt off.
So why would I
there's
even?
no
I don't
point.
even consider taking a shower in public.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the idea. But you still can see. I've never taken a shower with my shoes off. With my shoes.
Did you
But it-
wait, did you think I said to race somebody in the shower?
No, I was just thinking in general.
No.
I don't know what you're racing in the shower.
What are you gonna race in the
No, I
shower?
was just talking about.
That's what I said. Like
No, I
you
was
never
saying
hit
you were
turbo
changing-
with your shoes off. Did you think I was talking about in the shower?
No, I just thought you were changing the subject to something that was completely different. I knew what you were talking about, but it was random to me. You race, like I'm talking about shower shoes. You don't race barefooted? Like what's the? You don't race barefooted? No, but I don't take public showers without shoes either.
Oh man. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man.
I'm just saying this.
Oh man. That is hilarious.
That is gross though.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, no.
Barefoot in somebody else's shower is nuts.
And no, I've never ran with bare feet.
You ever used a bidet?
No.
Joe, you ever used a bidet?
I can't say I haven't.
I get so scared when I go use the restroom at Show's house, man. Because he has a
Here we
bidet,
go.
and I do.
At home?
At
Yeah.
home.
Oh man.
At home.
I want to use it, but I don't want to be. I don't want to. Well, number one, shitting in somebody else's house is disrespectful for me.
Unless it's emergency.
Yeah,
it's
no,
an
no, no,
emergency,
yeah. I've
I
had
mean,
I've had cereal tonight, and then I go over to Rio's house tomorrow.
Yeah.
You about to catch all of your plumbing about to get fucked up.
hey, but if you came to my house, you know you'll be clean.
But I might be clean and wet though.
That's just like that's an ancient wet wipe. That's what it is.
Well,
It's an ancient wet
it's a-
wipe.
Well, see, but no. See, the only thing I'm saying is I would be afraid
Yes.
that it would like spray all up in the back of my neck, and be in my hair.
And there's just shit on your back.
No, not shit, but
Those
maybe
things-
the bidet misses.
Those things are like made to hit the right angle.
So okay, so you ever walked around in public with?
Does it wash your balls too at the same time?
If you move to the right angle, it can.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be nice in the summer though, you know?
just a little rinse, a little cleanse,
yeah,
a little refresh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're on the golf course, you get the ball cleaners.
You get that.
Yeah.
Oh
It
man!
might be.
Welcome
what you
back
need.
to the Brilliant Minds of Idiots show. We've been recording. None of these guys knew we were recording. Oh man! Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you raise people. I don't raise people in the shower. I want people to know that. We were just talking about something different. We were talking about something different. All right. So,
Something about another man's body makes zero want to race.
I bet y'all beat him too. I bet y'all beat him. Put some money up. Barefoot me in the shower. You never see nothing faster. All right. So, Rio's man Robert had that Gayle King interview
Yeah.
where he was protesting too much that he was innocent and he loves ladies.
All women.
He loves all women, whether they've passed puberty or not.
At least he didn't say, what do you mean by
That's the
teenage
same
women?
thing when you have that
But
in your
it's
past.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, when you had that in your past, you shouldn't be able to say, I love all women.
Yeah.
No,
All
you're not going to say that.
adult women.
Not
Yeah.
not in his situation.
I don't even think you can say all adult women. That brings in too many questions in too many states.
So then what would have been the right answer?
I
for him?
love 25 and up. If she can't rent a car, I don't want her.
See, but I think that's a little staged too. If I heard that,
I'm
like,
okay. No, see, I'm okay with it being staged though. I'm okay. Look. When it's not staged, it looks terrible. When it is staged, which I love all women, I think is staged.
Oh my god.
I think all of it is bad. And Gayle King, the whole interview looked terrible, to be honest.
She did a great job interviewing him, though.
She
Yeah,
did
she
a
did.
great
She-
job
she
interviewing
kept it
like a
calm.
child.
She kept her calm.
She kept her straight face, and didn't move an inch.
Because she knew that R. Kelly's not a threat to her.
You know?
She's aged out of his demographic a long time ago.
There was security there, but it was only watching him. Not her.
Yeah, well, because there were probably kids in the premises. I think it was in a hotel room, so
Part
there
of
was
the
kids
court
on the
order.
premises. So I think it was Megan's law that they had to watch them.
It was funny how she kept calling him out. It was like, and you did this?
She was like, "Oh, in your past, my past, nigga, I beat my case.
Yeah.
If I beat my case, you can't double jeopardy me with two other women
Yeah.
that weren't in this."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, while singing.
Essentially, he said, "Look, the reason why you can't bring up my past is I beat my case. And when I beat my case, you can't double jeopardy me by keep using the stuff that happened in the previous case.
When you beat your case.
When you beat your case. You beat your case." Because he started singing
Yeah,
everything. We started
He had
crying.
a couple of high notes in there.
Wow.
He hit some of them notes.
That's a decent point. Honestly, you can't
Yeah, you can when it's 2 other women and you did it in your past.
But I mean, if you were found
If you were found
innocent
not in it,
technically, then you
and
can't
you
use
did it again
But
2
you
other
did it
times.
again, then now it's
No.
it makes those other cases look.
If you were found innocent and you did it again 2 other times, I'm looking back at the time you were innocent, and I figure we got it wrong.
Legally, you can't. But it don't matter because they got tapes out. They got VHS. It might not be clear, but this time, they got the VHS.
He got 8-track soundtracks.
I'm surprised they had a VHS player to.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you getting that shit to get R. Kelly after Chicago. And when you're Chicago PD, you got a VHS.
Oh, they got
Yeah.
it at the station.
Yeah, for sure. You're trying to save a ton of face.
Man.
Yeah.
You got all the Kim Kardashian's faces.
It was probably in his VCR. They just took the
I guess
VCR.
he got a 57 Chevy tape rewinder. You dad to put it in there to rewind it to the beginning. You guys had a tape rewinder back in the day.
It was shaped as a car.
Yeah. You put it in the hood, put that shit
Yeah.
down. So Robert, he went to jail on child support after this interview. Get your boy, Rio.
I mean, I'll still listen to him.
That's right.
But I'm not claiming him as my boy, though. Like, it's terrible. I haven't listened to him recently either.
You think that's not? You don't think that's?
It's getting close. It's getting close.
Is it getting close to closing time?
Yeah, it is. I gotta admit, but
Dang, you know it's bad when you say you can separate the artist from the art and you can't anymore.
Yeah.
That's how you know you fucked it all the way up.
yeah,
When you get the people who are kind of supporting you. Because he doesn't even, it's not Michael Jackson.
I was never supporting him.
No, you were putting the half a coin in his pocket.
Yeah, quarter penny. He could get that.
Yeah, but
quarter
once you
penny.
listen to Bump and Grind 5 times,
I don't listen to it that much.
man, I don't know what your playlist look like though.
Yeah.
I don't know what you be doing.
True.
You got one son.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were listening to.
Trust me, I don't want to.
Okay. Okay.
So
I feel you. How does Shell? How you feel about our Robert?
He's a mess, man. He's a total.
He's just a bum.
He's a mess.
Yeah.
Like the way he was trying to stand up and getting like all rowdy and stuff in the interview. Like he's like definitely like against what he did.
Delusional
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
I got beef though with a person in this room. Rio, when the clip started coming out,
His face.
you were
oh no, he has some fire lines in that interview.
but it's all Beijing though.
Huh?
It's all Beijing. That's not his real hair. That's not his real hair color. He was putting the dye in there with the fibers. Yeah, when you
okay.
watch it, when you watch it, and you saw how they were
his
attacking.
hairline.
Yeah, when you saw how they were attacking his sweat beads, you knew that they were preventing all the sludge that killed all the dinosaurs from running down his forehead.
I thought you were talking about the fact that I was saying he's probably going to put out a dope ass album
No,
with all the pain.
he always finds a way to put out the dope shit after
Yeah.
these. So this one's got to be fire before he does life in
Well, you
prison.
better put out quick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's gotta
I'm
make,
probably
like-
here for
He's
it.
got to get a couple.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Man.
I don't even.
I'll
do
look
I have
at
a
the track
do
listing
I have a
first.
sound?
I'll look at the
Look
track
look at
listing.
the songs. Look at the credits.
Man.
That's for you, Rio.
I'll look at the track listing first to see if
But it's
overtly sexual.
wrong answer.
And if it's overtly sexual, it'll be
It
hard
won't
pass.
be. That's the thing is it won't be. But
Then-
No, you
then it's
you
all
can't
right.
take me
I'm
to
stepping
church.
I'm
You
stepping
can't take
in the
me to
name of
church
love.
after
It's all
volume
right.
2 and 3.
I'm stepping.
Nah.
oh wow.
Now, what'd you say? He said in his previous, you said on the previous episode of the Brilliant Minds of Idiots, episode 4. What did you say he said in the video?
It was terrible.
What did he say though?
Why you gotta make me read
No, what did he
it?
say though?
Calling you.
I'm talking about stepping side.
I
to
know.
side.
Yeah, he was stepping inside.
Why you
something.
gotta
What did he
bring
say
up?
though?
Why you gotta bring up?
No,
old
what was the
stuff?
quote? I forget the quote. It's slipping my mind. Can you remind me of the quote? Real?
It was what was it?
I believe it had something to do with 14-year-old. What was it?
he made her say,
Oh,
fuck, was it fuck this 14-year-old pussy? Was that it?
Daddy.
Or was that it?
No,
I can't remember
I
if
don't
that
know.
was
but I just
That's
know it's
another-
gross.
I mean,
I
that's
just know
bad.
it's gross.
the word for word is slipping my mind right now.
But you knew what you knew where it was.
Yes,
It was in the ballpark.
that's old stuff. I'm here for the new stuff.
wow.
That was in the past.
He is quick to forgive. That's the
That's
guy.
terrible. That's terrible. But no, I feel you. Not on this one though. Not on this one. This one's terrible. It's the wrong hill to die on. It's the wrong hill to die on. I'm not
Wrong
separating
end.
art.
You
No,
might be the only one at his concert. Front row.
no.
To yourself.
I
No,
didn't
no,
say
50
I'm going to a concert.
Okay, I'm just
I don't
saying.
know.
50 Cent. 50
Literally
Cent
or
is playing
figuratively.
First
Yeah,
two
you-
rows.
you-
I'd listen to the new album pirated.
No. Hold on. Anybody who
I'd
listens to
pirate.
any song of somebody they have canceled, but you download it on LimeWire, I'm rolling with you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I roll with you. No. If anybody who downloaded,
I'm here for the new pirated
yeah,
R. Kelly.
yeah,
No,
not for
still
Robert,
can be.
not for Robert, me personally. But if the only way you supported him was your offline
That's how I'd
playlist
do it.
and it was
That's how I'd do
pirated,
it.
all right, I'm
And it's
rolling
not
with you.
while I'm in the room or the car.
No,
then yeah.
I didn't know you felt that strongly.
I mean, I don't, but I do actually.
No, in your car, you might get your whole deck smashed in. You might get your whole deck smashed.
As long as you replace it.
Is that Robert?
I give you a little Walmart dual deck, the detachable face.
No,
I get you
no,
one of
no,
them.
A double did.
Yeah, no, not double deck. He getting a removable face. You
need
carry
to-
that shit around with you at the mall.
No, OEM.
Check his pocket.
No, OEM.
Yeah. It's got to be what was
I get you
there.
that universal adapter.
No,
Get
sir.
your plug smooth in. I might even buy you a subwoofer.
I'll get you a
It'll be
Walkman.
dual though.
Don't get in my car ever.
I was
I'm
thinking-
gonna have
I was
him
thinking
playing
CD player.
as soon as you
Yeah, I
hop
was
in.
gonna get you a Discman.
Yuck.
I do. This man.
You can put the headphones on in the car.
The yellow ones. The yellow ones that go on the ear.
Yeah.
Yuck. That's terrible.
That's too much Robert talk.
I might listen
Already.
to him on
Well,
the way
I mean-
home now.
Yeah, Rio have them.
The whole I gave you 30 years thing, but 2 weeks ago you were like, you should have did this shit 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and now you're killing me.
Did you see that his lawyer had to give him libido reducing shots?
Yeah, his lawyer was giving.
Oh, because he can't get it.
He's
while it was-
transitioning.
His lawyer said after the first trial, he started having R. Kelly give himself
That's probably not a good thing to admit.
shots to reduce his libido.
I feel like that's not good for your case.
No, definitely
Not
not.
no.
And you're a lawyer, so
Ex-lawyer.
Nobody said he was
Ex-
good, though.
ex-
Nobody said he was a good lawyer.
but if you're his lawyer, he's gotten him through what he's gotten through.
I don't think those
Probably-
are original lawyers. I think those
Yeah, I
probably
think he's
one
probably
and
gotten
done.
through a couple.
I think you did
Public
one. You put
defender?
They probably refused to represent him again.
yeah.
because they
No,
saw
you
the
keep
tapes.
doing it.
Yeah,
You did it again. What was that quote again, Rio?
no, don't do it.
You heard it.
Get the buzzer.
So Robert Kraft it came out that he
The
wasn't.
other Robert.
Yeah, it was a bad week for the Roberts 2 weeks
That is
ago.
that. Roberts are on
All
the roll.
Roberts were under attack.
He wasn't under attack.
He was getting assaulted. The orcas
know
of
about
Asia. So if you didn't know, 2 weeks ago, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Robert Kraft was indicted on soliciting a prostitute. Robert Kraft is the owner of the New England Patriots, and he was caught at a massage parlor that gave the happy endings. He went there 2 times in 24 hours, like
Back to back.
yeah, like Drake. You know what I mean? He wasn't meek at all when it came to going to the orchards
No.
of Asia. 2 different Bentleys too. That's a real G move right there.
Yeah.
And then he came out and said he didn't do anything illegal. He did give the lady $100 tip. So it turned out that the lady that gave him his 7th ring was not there, held against her will and forced to sleep in the establishment. nor was she a victim of sex trafficking. Also, he gave the $100 tip on the $80 handy. Sounds like a saint.
Sounds like I don't really see
Sounds like a billionaire white dude to me, bro.
the problem. I don't know.
Why? Just because she wasn't forced to be there?
The only illegal thing is, well, like solicitation is illegal.
Yeah.
That's what he's up for.
Nope.
Yeah.
It just sounds exactly like I expect a billionaire dude to kind of move.
But technically, in his case,
But why
which he'll argue, is what if he went in there and it was legit,
And he
which we
liked
probably know it wasn't, and then.
They have video.
But I'm saying, what if it was
So
legit?
They have videos of her cleaning up. Are we gonna get a Robert Kraft sex tape? Are we gonna get an R Kraft?
What if it was consensual? That's
Well-
probably his point. That's going to be his defense.
Not with that face.
Not with that money.
And that $100 tip.
With that money,
That $100 tip by your silence.
that's just incentive.
Does that $100 tip by your silence show?
Oh my god, I don't know, man.
$100 tip is nice.
But what does the fact that she wasn't forced to be there, what does that have anything to do with it? Or why would his defense even bring it up?
Because of his trafficking. It's a huge. Usually those places are from people that'll take your passport or things like that, and the trafficking is issue.
Yeah,
If she's
I
not sex
understand
trafficking,
that,
she's
but-
just an entrepreneur.
But it implies that he kind of knows.
It doesn't imply she kind of knows. It actually implies
Opposite.
that. It implies that
you think that was the only chick there that ever gave him a massage and jerked him off.
I just don't know.
Yeah, you just have.
And
Yes, it's
before-
what you can prove is what the
Before
thing is.
before I give him the devil mark, because if he was doing,
But there's still no difference.
I think there's a difference.
Well, the point at the beginning, when there was a bunch of speculation, they're saying that he knew about the whole operation and had insight to as far as maybe possibly some trafficking and things like that.
Oh, I
so
didn't
it's
know
just
that's
it's
what
just
they were
less.
saying.
Yeah, they were saying that not only was she forced to live there and things like that was the initial report, but he knew about it. So he knew about potentially a human trafficking operation initially when there was speculation. Now, if he didn't know about that and he allegedly did nothing because I don't know what they have or don't have on tape, then now it could just be he went in there and maybe talked her into it and she agreed and maybe it was a tip for it, but I guess that's still
not in 24
solicitation.
hours.
But yeah, and he went back.
Not in 24 hours.
He went back for more. Round two.
Not before the NFL, not before the AFC Championship. This sounds like
He was stressed.
Orchids of
He's
Asia
stressed.
has a
He's
mama
stressed out.
san.
Sounds
That's
like-
all I'm saying.
He needed
For
to
sure.
relieve his stress.
has a what?
A mama san.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think Sean knows what a mama son is.
That's a female Asian pimp.
Yep. That's what it is.
Cold blooded.
Wow.
Oh, but we talk about
Pimp named Chopsticks. You remember on the
Smiley.
Boondocks, a pimp named Slickback?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That's what that reference to. That's not
The whole-
really meant to be. No, it's meant to be a little racist.
because they were many.
You got to say the whole thing too.
Yeah, it's a whole. That's her name. It's a pimp named Chopsticks. You can't
That's
say
the mama san.
your Chopsticks. It's the whole thing.
Amazing.
But they got the pictures out with
I'm getting this canceled.
with-
oh yeah. Rhea, what happened with DT? Donald Trump?
DT.
El Presidente.
Oh yeah. So the owner of Asian Orchid Massages she was at Donald Trump's Super Bowl party, and there's also rumors that she's been setting up. She's been accepting payment from Chinese businessmen and influencers to allow them access to Donald Trump.
Oh,
Yep.
So you think Donald Trump is giving handies?
Maybe to Putin.
Do you think he's scooting and Putin?
Who knows? Who knows?
no wonder Kim Jong Il looks happy.
You think we're getting our
I just think, Trump probably gets hand jobs too.
Is he
He
the
probably-
other person?
He probably referred.
You think?
Is he the
Because they
famous-
did say Robert Kraft was not the most popular person.
That would.
in
That'd
this?
be
Do you think
hilarious.
Donald Trump is the person?
I think social media would love it for like 2.5 years straight.
Most definitely.
The
do you
memes
think?
would
Do you
go.
think that would turn people on him?
No.
But the people already who are
they'd
against him
make an
would just
excuse.
emphasize it.
I know that those people don't need ammo. I'm talking about the people that are for him. Do you think a handy
No.
No,
gets him out of the paint?
no. I don't think
a
so.
handy gets him
Nah, that just gives them more credit.
because he becomes a regular person?
Yeah.
He's-
Yeah.
yeah.
They're just like, yeah, that's my president. You know?
Yeah. From long range.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's
That'd
anything
be
that
like,
gets,
that'd be like if Obama built a Popeyes underneath the White House. You know what I mean? Black people would be so for it.
he allowed people to drink cognac. There were people drinking Hennessy in the Oval Office.
Yeah, see?
That's
what I mean.
exactly the kind of president I
There
want.
you go.
Not necessarily that I want my president to drink the cognac. I just want him to allow me to.
Yeah, promote it.
Allow me to be me. No matter
Was
where
it
I am.
never served there before?
I don't think I don't think it's ever been served there. Even then, I think they brought it in themselves.
It was like
I heard somebody
vodka.
brought in tequila, or no, they were giving out tequila or serving tequila.
That must have
I
been
don't know if
Clinton.
if Barry had the Henny on deck or the Douce. You know, Douce.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I don't think he
You know,
had
yeah.
Douce on deck.
He had the ace
I
of
don't think-
spades, so.
Yeah, he definitely had ace of spades. You think that's how Barry gets it done? Like how he seals the deal with his queen? He
Ace
just
of
brings
spades?
in the ace of spades on Valentine's Day. Got the C's candies, the big box.
Probably keeps it simple. I mean, he's got, yeah, you don't have to do
I don't
much.
know.
You don't have to do much.
I don't think his queen is rolling. I think he's definitely got to bring the Popeyes lady to serve him dinner.
That would work on me.
The
No,
from,
I'm marrying
The one
whoever
from
does that.
downstairs?
No. The lady from the commercial.
Maybe from commercial.
If the lady from the commercial beer batters my shrimp,
Yeah.
Then
That's-
it's special.
You can't even
No.
don't even celebrate Valentine's after that if you do that. You're not going to beat it.
no, every Valentine's Day we just renew our vows.
Ooh, over, and she's got to be there.
She's got to be.
She's got to be there every.
Gotta be
you
there every
can't
year.
Have it without her.
She's
anymore.
dropping all the fries and all the chicken strips. Now I'm hungry. Let's see what else we got.
What about the 77-year-old lady that
Break it down for us. Give us the scenario.
there's a 77-year-old lady. She was on vacation in Iceland, I believe. She was with her family. She saw this iceberg that was shaped like a throne and decided to sit on it for a picture. The iceberg broke off and she sailed away out to sea.
Oh wow.
She was rescued,
Oh,
but
okay.
I just thought this was a great example of human stupidity.
Natural selection.
Yeah.
Oh my
Part of
God.
me says they should have just let her go.
Yeah, I mean, it was someone's.
I
Yeah,
think they should.
family probably was
Yeah.
begging otherwise, but
Yeah.
Sounds like natural selection.
That's
she found her throne.
Grandma was.
She needs to
Grandma
stay
was
up
I
in
feel
on
like
age.
part of her would have been okay
They probably
if they just
got,
left her. She was chilling, literally.
Should have been the,
she was
the real
having the
life
time of her life.
Frozen.
They probably was like grandma's adventures.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what they said when they interviewed him. They're like, oh, grandma's just kooky, you know?
She could be kooky out to sea too. She don't gotta be kooky here.
Yeah.
She got. Hey, we can claim that iceberg like its own country. She could have been a queen of it.
Queen, yeah, Queen of the Seas,
Boom.
gone.
See if we could get some. You know what I mean? Get her help in a war. She was in
Yeah.
the army.
They're neutral.
The penguins. I mean, because you know global warming's a thing, so that shit gonna be gone.
Yeah.
That fucking iceberg's gonna be dissolved.
I mean, she's 77, so
Yeah.
by the time
Yeah,
global
she
warming
wouldn't
hits.
Oh,
last
that
too
actually
much
probably
longer.
gave her like 3 years on her life. It's cold. Put her ass smooth in that.
like the
In the
cryotherapy.
Yeah.
Cry out there.
She got that cryotherapy, came back. She was walking better. Everything. She came back healed.
All her joints and
Yeah, I
everything
know,
were
right?
just working fine.
where was this iceberg located? Do you know what country?
Iceland.
I think it was Iceland.
Isn't Iceland supposed to be green and Greenland
Well, then
supposed
it
to
was
be ice?
Greenland.
Oh,
I thought it was Iceland. I
It's
don't know
one
where
of
it
those,
was.
but I think in the article it said Iceland.
Iceland's green, but they still got ice.
oh. I mean, are we done with this lady?
Yeah,
I think so.
unless anybody else has anything to say about how stupid people are or can be, or if they have a example of somebody being stupid.
I just wanted to let everybody know. Measure Johnson. He's not the only one now. He's not the only one cured of
Oh
AIDS.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's the second person cured of AIDS.
Well, if you're counting
technically-
Magic, that's 3.
Technically,
No, Magic.
Magic Johnson.
Okay, then there's
I
3.
think they're studying Magic's DNA.
There's 2. Magic didn't have AIDS.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. So he
HIV.
had HIV.
It's just still in remission, or
It's
just
dormant
has
in
it.
his body.
Yeah.
So it's a
So he's
virus.
cured.
Yeah, for now.
Scared for
Maybe forever, but AIDS, there is a second person.
Yeah. After Magic.
You know there's certain people who actually cannot get
Yeah.
HIV at all.
It's crazy.
They just have that strand that they can't get HIV at all.
And
Yeah.
that
Magic.
No,
That's
Magic,
how-
you can got it.
that's how the 2 people got saved. They
Oh, they just
They
didn't
took
have-
they took something from them or what?
they had a
Stem
some
cell?
form of cancer, and they got bone marrow transplants.
But yeah,
And-
I heard about that one.
And they were donated bone marrow
I've heard
from
about
a
that.
healthy person, and that healthy person had a
They happened
resistance
to- yeah.
they had that like gene or whatever.
Is immune.
The
yeah.
antidote.
And then when
Pretty
they
much.
received that bone marrow, they're saying that that's what made their body fight off the AIDS and
Well, now she better test that
wipe
blood.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these people had AIDS and cancer?
Yeah,
Is that the fuck we're saying right now? We're saying that the people
Yeah.
who had AIDS and cancer were still saved by one person?
Yeah.
The fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Where's Magic's been quiet since the All-Star break.
He's getting a bone
He's
marrow
getting a stem
transplant.
cell.
Getting into the transplant.
He's given up his bone marrow.
His wouldn't help.
What about
Yeah, no.
what about Michael's?
Michael who?
Jack.
Michael Jackson.
Mike Jack, baby. Maybe Mike Jack is the reason
They
people
killed
don't get cancer and AIDS at the same time.
him. Illuminati.
Maybe that's why they're trying to decredit him. Make sure we all stay sick.
That's
That shit's on YouTube
plausible.
right now.
Plausible, yeah.
Yeah, that shit's on YouTube right now. They're trying to get Mike Jack's DNA to be able to cure AIDS, to be able to cure cancer, and to be able to get the motherfucking Beatles catalog. It's all there. It's all there.
Did
Trying to get
anybody
it.
see the flat earthers that did an experiment to prove that the earth was flat and it ended up proving that the earth was round?
Yeah.
Can you break it down for us?
So from what I had read, they had set up an experiment where a light would shine through pretty much 2 different holes set at different distances
Was
on
it a
the
bidet?
ground. I don't know. But they were set at 2 different distances,
I can prove it wrong.
they shone the light through the holes, and and they said that the light would go through both if
Yeah.
the Earth was flat,
Right.
but that didn't happen.
That's a
Well,
fail. That's
Well, you do. One thing that people don't realize: if you blindfold a human and just tell him to walk in a straight line, he walks in a center or in a circle, kind of like the Earth is rotating. A person doesn't walk straight if you blindfold them; they actually walk in a circle.
I don't know if that proves anything.
It does.
That might
if
be-
we were
I
going,
don't know
if we
that
weren't
does.
spinning,
I think I'm with. How does that have anything to do with it?
if we weren't a globe, you know what I mean?
No.
No.
Nobody. Nobody knows.
Fuck the both of us. Fuck the both of you.
I'm glad you put
Fuck
that out
everybody
there.
who doesn't believe what I just said.
You gotta.
Fuck everybody who does agree with what I just said. Fuck me. Fuck you.
You got to find a YouTube video that confirms that theory before I could jump on board with you, because I don't even think
That's the
there's
thing is
one.
you'll find one.
What-
That's the thing.
Exactly. I'll send you one. It'll be
You'll
it'll
find
be
one.
smooth in the group chat here later. Don't worry.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yeah, we'll be here later.
But yeah, the experiment proved that the Earth is indeed round, and
Well, why would my issue with the flat earthers is why the fuck would we be the only flat thing we see in the fucking space? You can pull up a telescope, you could see every other fucking planet, every moon, rings, everything is fucking round. But yet we would be the only flat thing in the fucking universe. You right. Are you right?
Say we're flat.
Yeah.
Why,
Time changes.
Why does
all
it matter?
that shit. Yeah.
What changes?
Nah,
if we're
it's a
flat?
conspiracy.
No, that's what they want. Like they're
It's the
feeding
gl-
us these false
Yes,
information.
it's the globe atlas makers.
But if we're flat, then well, I mean, what does that change in our lives?
I
Why
wish some
spend
of
so
these
much
people
time?
would walk smooth off the fucking planet.
Yeah.
If it was flat, they could.
Do they
I know,
not?
that's
Do
why I
these
asked.
guys not travel
fun.
outside the country? Like,
Nah, they don't. Well, they try to act like it's Pangea, all on a flat, on a flat thing. So they're like, "Oh, you can still go in a circle." No, but how come you can't find the end?
Yeah.
Where is the end?
Yeah,
That's my thing. If
very
we're
easy to
on the
prove
peppermint
it's flat.
patty,
Yeah.
if we're on the peppermint patty, where is the person who's standing on a mountain?
because there's a larger conspiracy theory out there that keeps every other business from showing us the end of the Earth, according to them.
Okay,
The
that's
Illuminati party.
And I'm only saying this
Episode
because
10.
I've watched a couple of those videos and they almost had me.
Episode
wow.
10.
And I
The
snapped out of
Illuminati
it,
party.
and I was like, "This is bullshit."
got him.
no way.
Yeah.
Nah, you believe that shit for a little
you
bit,
did.
though.
No, they
You don't
they
act like
had
you
me
didn't hit subscribe.
They had me questioning things, and then I was like,
That's how they
wait
get
a-
you.
Then I
Look
was
at
like, wait a
look at
minute.
Kyrie.
I was like, no way.
Oh, Kyrie's
Look
all
at
in.
Kyrie Irving. He
He's all in.
had spent
Yeah.
all summer acting like that
Kyrie.
nigga just found the enlightenment. Then was like, nah, it was a social experiment. I just want to see what you guys said when I said it. You know what I mean? If you don't know, you don't know, you know?
He's writing a thesis.
Yeah, he believes that.
Yeah, his thesis, how to sign with the New York Knicks and kill your way smooth out of Boston.
Yeah.
Fucking bum. I want my own team. That's coming on the Sports Outsider podcast. Coming in the spring. Fucking bum. Oh, I heard Trump's still serving Chick-fil-A from people. Do you guys see that?
Who did he serve it for
Houston?
this time?
It was
Did
like a Houston or a high school football team, was it?
Yeah.
I think it was
It's Wisconsin.
I don't know. I just know he was still serving.
Yeah, he was. It was Chick-fil-A and
Chick-fil-A.
something else.
But is it better that it's Chick-fil-A and not Burger King and McDonald's?
is.
Yes.
But I heard it was cold.
Was it on a Sunday though?
Said it was cold?
Yeah,
Cold
Well,
Chick-fil-A,
if
though,
it was on a
can
Sunday,
still-
But what was did he serve it on a Sunday though?
if you served it on Sunday, it's something.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it was a
Could
Sunday.
the president
because-
make Chick-fil-A stay open on a Sunday?
No.
No, I doubt it.
You think Obama could get Chick-fil-A to open up on a Sunday?
No.
He'd
No.
He'd get
What
Popeye.
about-
They probably hate Obama.
What about Newt?
No.
Who?
Newt Gingrich. Newt. Anybody named Newt? I think he could get Chick-fil-A to stay open.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay. Oh,
Jesus
also
might.
while we're on bums, Kanye West, I see what you're doing.
Ooh,
I see you trying to bring the choir with you on your rollout. Fuck out my face, nigga.
he's trying.
I ain't said that word
Oh,
all.
that's your first
That's my
one.
first one.
Ooh,
Kanye gets it though. Don't try to come
Probably
at me
deserves
with
it.
the church. Don't try to come in with the Kurt Franklin rollout. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get out my
trying to do
face.
good.
Get out my face.
Same.
Now you gotta do more than just bring the choir with you though. That the choir is how you get it. Whether you're Mac 10, I think he became a pastor at some time. I think Exhibit became a pastor at some time. Mace.
Exhibit?
I think so.
No.
I think he left for a couple years.
I don't think so. He left, not to.
I think
He
he
did
became a
Pimp My
pastor
Ride.
or he went to church. Everybody's rollout is go to church and then you bring the rollout back and you go back into the hood. What I'm telling you is, fuck out my face, Kanye.
He's trying to get those fans back. He was playing the old school songs and all
Yeah, I
kind of
know.
stuff to get the original listeners
not
back.
rolling.
But yeah, I'm not falling for it.
Not rolling. You want to show me your change? Divorce Kim.
That's a true statement.
I was
Before
gonna ask
she-
for the
before she-
applause on that.
Before she metamorphs into her other face, divorce her now.
Yeah.
Succubus.
Before they ruin them more
Before they-
than
Yeah.
they already have.
Before she comes out of her cocoon. Shows us 19's face. She got 19 of them.
He's probably going to be like a family sacrifice or something.
Yeah, he will.
He already is.
There's,
He already is.
He been there.
Martyr right now.
Season 20's coming.
they That's going to be the season finale
That
Um,
was
or a cliffhanger to
Maybe we
Yeah.
should wait. You know what? We'll wait. We'll wait for BK to come back because because Rio and BK have kids. And I was going to talk about anti-vaxxers.
Okay.
And
I thought you were going to talk about the cheese challenge because I'm
no,
here for
yeah.
the
What
cheese
is the
challenge.
cheese challenge?
the cheese.
That shit
challenge.
sounds
What's
You haven't
going on?
seen it yet?
cheesy as fuck.
So there's a cheese challenge. What it is parents are throwing slices of cheese at their babies.
Awful.
And if they eat it, they claim them. If they throw it down,
hilarious,
it's not
though.
mine.
It's hilarious.
But
though.
why would
I
you
haven't
throw?
seen it.
Why would you throw? What does a cheese challenge do though? Why is it funny?
It's,
I think show
yeah, here you go.
Is it a craft single?
most of the
Yeah,
time, yeah,
That's
it is.
disrespectful.
most of the
as
time
fuck.
it is.
Or is it like
But
a
that's all-
fistful of shredded
That means
cheese?
poor people. If you don't throw
No.
Sargento cheese in my face, we're fighting.
But it's the only one that works because the Kraft cheese kind of
Folds?
sticks to their face.
Because it's not cheese.
Yeah, but if you throw a Tillamook slice at them,
Yeah,
it
then it
just
just bounce
bounces right off. And there's a couple people that did it with the good cheese.
see
That
what
shit's
we mean?
hilarious.
It's like
hilarious.
it's crazy what the parents are doing.
It's just fucking funny to watch a piece of cheese
Yeah,
fly
yeah,
off the
yeah.
camera,
And they're like shocked for a second, right?
and then they get
And
happy.
then
I'm
they get
intrigued.
happy.
Now I need to see it.
They peel it off their face and then they eat it. You know.
Yeah, and like they just toss it right over.
Love those videos.
Oh
It's
man, this
hilarious.
is hilarious. Oh man,
Just throwing cheese at kids' faces.
Yeah, and then like the kids would be
that
like,
sounds like a dream.
See, so
I'm just right out with that cheese on my forehead.
Yo, if you have cheese to waste, I'll be mad as fuck if somebody threw a piece of cheese and you threw it on the floor.
That kid looked like they were waiting for it. Give me that cheese. Yeah, that's wild. I don't,
so there's people that are saying that parents are wrong for doing this,
surprising.
and
surprise.
there's some people that are criticizing the parents and saying that they're going to scar their kids.
Yeah,
And
that's
that-
dumb.
And
You know,
that
if a piece of cheese scars you, life's harder than that. We did you a favor.
Yeah.
they're saying that
We eliminated you early.
Their kids are gonna get older, and this video is gonna be around, and it's gonna humiliate them.
See much worse.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
definitely
I'm
making fun.
glad
And I
they
mean-
couldn't record when I was a kid.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
stuff much worse than cheese slices.
Who
not
hasn't
hiring
thrown a
those.
ball at a kid just to see it bounce
about-
off their head and laugh?
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not hiring the person who was a baby and their parents threw a piece of cheese in their face
Yeah.
and we laughed.
What about
I'm
those,
not hiring
what
that
about those
person.
kids that like take it off their face and then just eat it right away? I don't
That
think they'll
means
be
he's a
scarred.
go-getter. No,
That's the
I
ones
think
you
they'll
want.
be a-okay.
No, he's a go-getter.
That's the one you want. Yeah.
He's a CEO.
Yeah, I want them.
He's a CEO.
That's a
he,
C- yeah.
he takes lemons. He makes lemonade.
I want them making the executive decisions in my company.
I want him to know what we're gonna invest in.
And I see this is why old people call us soft.
Yeah.
Because of cheese.
Yeah.
Because they're throwing cheese at
What
kids'
is it?
If you
faces
threw a cheese wheel at
and
somebody's
complaining
face,
about it.
you
Yeah.
threw the cheese wheel. Yeah.
The old
fast.
person's
Yeah.
like, you should just be happy that you got food.
Exactly.
Nah, you throw that solid cheese brick at somebody's face. A whole one. Let me know. Let me know you can take it. I need to know what kind of troops I got. I need to know what kind of soldiers I got. I need to know who I'm riding with. Hey, it's gonna be the podcast challenge.
Go hard to go.
Podcast challenge. I'm
How do
throwing a
you
whole
react?
cheese wheel at everybody's face. I need to know who's right or die.
You with us or you against us?
Either that or you're bringing in water like Andy. If you can't do one or the other, from the dude from the Fried Fest, or you're taking a cheese wheel to the
Oh,
face.
that guy.
Initiation.
I'm kind of upset that my beer isn't good enough.
It's not.
You got it.
Anybody can bring beer. I need to know you can take a piece of cheese
Take some cheese.
a whole
Dope.
cheese wheel to the face, 20 pounds.
Dope.
I need to know you can take 20 pounds of cheese to the face.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is
So,
is that a hazy
to all
pink?
our listeners, this will be my last show.
I want to thank everybody for the memories. Thank everybody for listening. I'm cutting that out. I'm just going to surprise everybody. The Ivory Queen's coming back to a piece of cheese thrown straight to her face. She won't even know.
She doesn't even know what's
Won't even
coming.
know it's coming.
Everybody's just gonna look at it, waiting for a reaction.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, fast. That's all it's going to be.
And she comes to, and we're all like Ezel just standing over her, or Smokey standing over
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
You
No,
just got
no.
knocked.
No, that's Chris.
Is Chris
That was
Smokey?
Smokey.
Is Smokey?
Yeah,
what he
I
said.
said Ezel first.
Yeah, it was
said
Smokey
Smokey.
Smokey.
over Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red got knocked the fuck out. That's my bike. But I just, you know what I mean? We keep it here. It's both of ours.
Grandmama gave me.
How you
that
guys
shit.
feel about the next Friday? The last
The last
Friday.
Friday is called.
Yeah, last Friday.
I'm here for it.
I don't
There's
know.
not a bad
They're gonna be
Friday.
too grown up for it.
Well, I don't know about that.
I love all of them. I love all three.
Yeah.
There's been more than three. Have there
There's-
been three? There's
there's
been
been
three.
three.
There's been
There's
three.
There's been three. There was Friday,
Yeah.
next Friday, and
Friday after next. Yeah. I mean, they were all decent.
Yeah.
The first one was the best to me because it just
Yeah.
was the first one, the original. But another one this late, it just feels forced. So I'm gonna start with a bad opinion of it. It might be decent, but when
That's
I watch
fair.
it,
That's
I'm
fair.
That's
gonna
not
have-
fair, nigga.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
the opposite
No,
of fair,
it's-
but
yeah, it is.
Look, they got
they did
Steven
it themselves.
Spielberg.
They did it themselves.
They
Well, once they
got
got
who?
Steven
Oh,
Spielberg.
God,
Then
no
it's even
fucking
worse because
Spielberg.
he can't relate to that demographic. He's
Why
not gonna
can't
make
he?
it.
Yeah.
He
No.
could create like Transformers and be like, it'd be
No.
like Debo.
Like you mean Michael Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
I see what you did.
That'd be adding ET to the cast.
can't do
Chris Rock coming back. Chris Rock look like E.T.
Or M. Night Shyamalan?
Well, not Chris Rock. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker look like E.T.
it. No.
V.T. grew up,
What about that guy who made
got a nice shape up.
Get Out? If he directed it.
Oh,
Oh.
Jordan Peele.
Man,
That'd be
It would
weird.
make people go to it just because of the name.
Yeah. But
be
he's
weird.
a comedian.
You can't make Friday dark.
But he's a
It
comedian.
needs something.
He's kind of a comedian. He just don't do comedian
Peele.
movies.
Key and Peele.
Yeah, you don't do comedian movies.
Yeah, but he can.
yeah.
If he wanted to.
Sure can.
If he wanted to.
He'd
Totally.
make a special appearance in it.
You gotta show me. You gotta show
Last Friday.
I got faith in Cube, though. They haven't made a bad one. I
me.
like all three.
Until he brings in his
I love all
son.
three.
Once he starts trying to give me a son,
Yeah, if O'Shea Jr.'s in here, yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
He's a,
Oh, is he?
yeah.
Mm.
It's the last
Okay.
Friday.
Okay,
Yes,
maybe it
sure
will
is.
suck.
See, now your expectations right now,
Yeah.
that's what I'm going into. Not the
Okay.
theater, 'cause I'm not going to watch in the theaters.
Yeah.
But that's what
Nah,
I'm
I'll
going
probably
into.
still watch it.
Nah. That's a
Oh.
bad. That's gonna be a bad. It's
No.
gonna be our worst Black History Month when
Shit.
Ghost doesn't go to the theater.
No. What about
I'll,
Yeah, I'm not going.
Ghost?
I'll do it for
What
you.
about
Ghost.
Bad Boys 3?
I'm not a theater person anyways, but I would like to. I wouldn't actually go, but that's one I could see in the theater.
Yeah.
That's how I gotta break it down
If
because I
I
probably
was
won't.
going
but
to,
I wouldn't.
I would
Yeah,
see
if
that
I
one.
was going to, let's see Milan 3.
Yeah.
They gotta come out with 2 first, and I have to like that one. And then once they come out with
Exactly.
3, yeah. What about Aladdin? You gonna go see Aladdin?
Aladdin.
Will Smith is the genie.
That's,
Will Smith
I haven't seen. I saw the Lion King one.
He's still blue in
But I haven't
theater.
seen the. I haven't seen
No,
the. Not the. It's
the
not
trailer.
out yet, but the trailer. I haven't seen the Aladdin trailer.
I just want to ask everybody that's upset about Will Smith being blue, what the fuck color is he supposed to be?
Black.
I don't want a black genie.
He's supposed
They
to
be
be
like,
blue.
you ain't never had a friend like me. Nah, I don't need that nigga singing and dancing in blackface.
No shit.
Nah.
Some big lips.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't seen your baby nowhere, no how. Them fucking crows from Dumbo.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They were racist as fuck.
Disney's
were.
liable
You think
to
they're
do
gonna be
some
in this?
crazy
Nah,
shit.
I ain't seen your baby nowhere.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry presents The Crows.
That's
Nah,
next.
yeah, nah. I don't. I'll pass on that.
Yeah. I don't, yeah.
But
I'm
he's
good.
supposed to be blue.
He's supposed to.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
genius.
he's a genius.
the
Supposed
movie.
to
Yeah,
be,
he's
yeah.
supposed to be blue.
I don't
It's
mind.
fucking Will
I don't
Smith.
mind.
Nigga fucking
Do what he
did
wants.
the Drake dance on a bridge. and
I saw
jumped a bunch
I
of
saw
shit.
Yeah, he
someone
did.
say that it should have been a Middle Eastern person or an Indian person that played
Bollywood can redo
the
it?
genie.
Yeah,
But the
Bollywood can
genie's
redo it.
fucking blue.
Nah, Bollywood can redo
Blue.
it.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
And I bet they make the genie blue.
I bet you. Yeah, I bet you they do too. And they don't have a good actor as Will Smith.
Yeah.
No.
Best actor in the fucking cast.
Yeah.
I think Shaz is a little hurt about this movie too.
Shazzy is, but she's, you know what I mean?
Not a little, a lot.
Yeah, she, you know what I mean? She looked up to Jasmine. She was like, I know what Jasmine should look like. Yeah, a brown lady. What the?
Who's Jasmine in the movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Some Bollywood star, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's not.
No?
No,
Oh, my
I thought
bad.
she's
What,
mad.
what is she?
Some random girl.
Mm.
And the Aladdin is not even a Middle Eastern dude. They said Jafar is.
Yeah, of course he is.
his name. Of
course he is. Yeah. Jafar
Change it
got
over.
that ISIS.
Did they get white
Gotcha.
people to do it?
No,
They're
no, they're
mixed
brown.
or something.
If it's like Julia
They're
Roberts,
brown,
that'd be
though.
kind of funny.
They're like Blanket in Paris. They're half black.
They're still his kids.
Yeah, half black.
Let's see. Masood?
Metamucil?
Mashamallah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mashamla is playing Aladdin.
Oh, is he?
He's a... No.
Oh, I was like,
Fake news.
Mena Mashoud is a Canadian actor.
He's nice as fuck.
is he white?
Nah, he brown.
Oh,
He like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Jaden
he's
Smith type
got a-
brown.
oh he's got a tint. He's got a tint to him.
He's not...
He got a little, yeah, he got a little bit of
He looks like Aladdin.
yeah, he got a little bit of melanin.
Let's see.
Who's Jasmine?
I'm trying to find that out right now.
Who should Jasmine be other than Regina King?
Oh, wow. They might have fucked that up.
Who, Stacey Dash?
Naomi Scott? It's a British actress.
British people always taking over.
Oh, yeah.
These are the
Teen
bad guys.
carpets.
Yeah, she looks pretty white. There's no way around that.
Oh yeah, I'm outraged.
Yeah, they
I saw a picture of her face. I'm outraged.
they fucked up
Wow.
on Jasmine.
Yeah, she looks like Megan
I need
Fox.
I need
Fox
BK to write a
There's-
letter to her congressman.
There's plenty of
They won't read
Indian
yours.
actresses they could have used.
'Cause they won't read yours.
No, they won't read mine. Mine got a bunch of Dems. DEMS.
What's Tyrone Waffle House?
Oh. So, this guy, I don't know where it was. I was in the South. I'm thinking Louisiana. Guy named Tyrone, of course. If I wouldn't have told you his name, you'd probably guessed it. But he goes into a Waffle House dressed up like an employee.
I like them.
Dressed up, yeah. Oh, you're gonna
liking
love what he
this.
does.
I'm liking this.
So I feel like Zero's gonna. This is his style.
Yeah, this is
So
like
he
this
walks
is
into a
his
Waffle
guy.
House, dressed like an employee, gets behind, and there's other employees there. He gets behind the counter. He's taking orders, and he's working as if he's an employee.
But that's not only it.
Right, and then he's doing work as an employee, full day. Does a full schedule.
Full 8 hours.
Nobody says anything to him.
He took a lunch.
And
Just
then he-
making waffles all day?
At the end of the day, he goes in the cash register, takes $300 for his troubles, rolls out.
Oh, so he kind of like Ubered his way into the
He
Waffle
worked
House.
it. He paid himself.
Yeah.
He felt like he did a good job.
The whole
he was
day.
talking to the customers. He was taking orders. He was sending orders back to the kitchen. This chicken isn't crispy enough. And he paid himself $300.
That's amazing.
$300. How much is that an hour?
Too much,
Too much.
but he felt like he put some work in.
food.
Hold on. Let me break that down. So it's
Put some work in.
I mean, at least he worked for it.
He did. You can't say he didn't work for it.
No.
He didn't just steal it, even
is
though he
that
stole
after
it.
taxes? Do you think he filled out a W-4?
I don't think
No,
he
he
did the
didn't.
W-9.
He
Yeah,
didn't.
he didn't do the. Yeah,
I mean,
he
if
didn't
he
do any
took
of
the
that.
money,
There's
he
no
ain't,
withholdings.
he ain't holding on nothing.
Yeah, that's tax free.
Yeah.
But he
His
I
name
could
ain't
see- I
his
could
name
see
ain't on no
Zero
papers
doing
at that
though.
Oh, for sure.
restaurant.
Oh, no, I'm paying myself $450. Inflation's gone up, baby.
His
So, I
name's
mean-
not on any paperwork. That
No.
that job.
Oh.
So he doesn't need to pay his
Yeah, he
taxes,
just.
I guess.
And how does no one? That shows you how. And I'm sure it was like the night shift is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, because nobody
But that
cared.
shows you that employment at a Waffle House in the South is a revolving door. You don't even know. Tyrone started again. Another Tyrone. He'll be gone next week. Like you don't even know who your employees are.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So, okay, so I'm just
Trying
okay.
to process it.
No. So what I'm doing is right now, I just. Okay, so he pay himself $300
Yeah.
divided by 8, give you his hourly total.
Yeah.
Nigga paid himself $37.50 an hour to work at the Waffle House.
We don't know how hard he was working.
He paid himself 300 divided by 8.
He was doing 3 people's jobs. He was hosting.
He paid
was
himself
serving tables, and he was cooking.
He paid
so
himself
deserved it.
$37.50
But here's the thing:
an hour at the waffle shop.
did he add value? Maybe he
That's what I'm saying.
maybe he's a frequent visitor.
Yeah,
He's like,
so
hey,
he knew the
customer
menu.
service is awful. My table's not clean. The chicken's not crispy. You know, maybe he just solved a couple problems. He needed some money, and the Waffle House wasn't being run properly.
He was experienced, it looks like, because he didn't
Oh, he
get
knew what
he
he was
got away
doing.
with it.
He knew what he was doing.
I'm billing him. I'm billing him for $60. He could come back. He get paid $240 and pay himself $8 an hour.
Well, here's the other part of the story.
Okay.
Because his name's Tyrone, you might have guessed, he got arrested. So he got caught. Yeah, so that's the that's the bad part. They found Tyrone. They called on Tyrone, and he answered the phone.
They found his phone. Erica Badu let him use the
He said,
phone.
you can't use my phone. But
Oh,
he used
shit.
Tyrone's phone. He got caught.
Oh man.
He's locked up.
Wait,
But
so
he's a legend.
Tyrone got arrested for doing a job.
He's a legend.
Yeah,
though.
he got
arrested for working.
for working. He got arrested.
He
for
didn't go to the
working.
unemployment. He could have got and went to the unemployment line.
That's an entrepreneur where I come from.
Right, exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
He didn't.
Well, there was a
man.
market and he created his own value.
He did. I mean, you would think if you go into work at a restaurant, if you go to work at In-N-Out, I can tell you right now,
You think
they
it
have
was
no room
Kaepernick?
for you. They have no room for you. They're
Think it was
going to
Kaepernick?
notice within 5 minutes you don't work there.
Yeah.
You don't know
Who
what the
are
fry
you?
machine. Your burgers aren't cooked. Like they're going to notice immediately. You go to a Waffle House and upgrade it and add value. I mean, you probably paid himself properly.
You think it was Kaepernick settlement? He got to work at a. You think he got to work at a
Wait,
waffle
does it-
shop?
Did it say he got arrested that same day?
I don't know when he got arrested. I'm guessing he finished the shift.
No, he
Yeah.
spent that
He finished his-
$300
I know he
first.
finished his shift.
They
Nah,
probably
he spent
what
that
they did was
$300.
whenever they counted the money,
Yeah.
they probably was like,
Oh,
we're a
they're
little
short.
because people don't pay their employees out of the cash register.
He got
They
arrested.
came up
with
$300 short, and then he
What do you
probably-
think he bought first? Some Gucci?
some J's.
Yeah, and then
He
they
bought
would be
some-
like,
you think he bought some
"That's what I'm
Concords?
saying."
Did he go to another Waffle House and just buy some food there?
Yeah.
No, he worked.
He was hungry.
He was
after
tired
all-
of waffles.
Took
Oh,
over that.
Tyrone
hours,
for
he was
sure
hungry.
ate free on his lunch.
I hope so.
He absolutely ate free on his
He
lunch.
took his
Yeah.
30. He took his
He got a
30.
free lunch and $300.
It was $320.
I'm mad
It
he
was
got.
just
I'm mad he
$320.
got caught.
It was $320.
He enjoyed
And
that 30
He
minutes.
let the $20 go to his lunch.
That's. I mean,
He took his 15-minute break soda and everything.
Yeah, he did.
Definitely.
No. This is the South. He had sweet tea. He had a sweet tea.
He had a glass the whole day just sitting there.
He had a red
So,
solo
okay,
cup
so-
his whole shift.
So, just to follow up on this story. So Tyrone beat the fuck out of somebody and took their uniform.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I don't. He dressed like a.
he beat the fuck out
Probably.
of somebody.
What
He didn't have a name tag.
What if he was an ex-employee of another of those Waffle Houses?
He wanted to show that he shouldn't have got fired.
He wanted to show what he could do, and then paid himself accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take
Okay.
my
So
money.
Tyrone worked at the one on 5th and 8th, or 5th and F.
Yeah.
And then
he
he
worked
got
on
fired
Martin
from
King
5th and
Jr.
F. Yeah,
He worked on Martin King Jr.
No, he got fired from 5th and F. Walked into the MLK Boulevard location.
He walked into
He
that.
walked
one.
into the MLK Boulevard
They had no
location.
idea.
He's gonna get away with
Punched
that one.
in.
They probably were surprised somebody was working so hard.
Yeah.
Wait, who the fuck is this nigga trying to take my job?
Show me up.
Who the fuck is this bum trying to take my
Cleaning
job?
table and sweeping the floor.
Hey, Tyrone, whoever this Tyrone dude is, do you know they were talking hella shit on second break, blowing cigarettes in the back of the
By the trash can.
Hey, whoever that new Tyrone dude is, nigga, fuck him. You need to get with the program, otherwise we're gonna fuck him up.
So when they're
Steve, will you cut his hours? He working too hard. He making us all look bad. Steve, like, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
they went to go count the money, and they're like, "Who's that guy in the front?" Yeah. He
Yo, who that nigga got
Tyrone?
Who that nigga got the no slip J's on? Hey, who that is? Who that guy is?
The streets.
So Tyrone paid himself $37.50 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
He took his talk your shit, King. Talk your shit, King.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The world don't get to dictate your worth.
You got to know your worth.
Yeah.
You are what somebody's willing to pay you. In this case, he paid himself. He's self-employed.
he knew how to make money.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a self-starter.
It is. Go get
I'm
it.
just saying.
I like what he did. But his name was Tyrone.
So he caught the.
So he got
At
caught.
this moment that he knew he fucked up.
The police was after
When they
him.
asked him his name.
Oh, the whole pose.
Yeah.
The popo was strong after Tyrone. The police go after what's old boy's name? Who got the reduced sentence?
Brock Turner?
No. Manafort.
Oh, Manafort,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, the police go after Manafort. The popo,
4
they go after
years.
Tyrone for doing a hard 8 hours.
You should have said his name was Dave.
Did he clean? Hold on.
Yeah, for a fair
did,
wage.
Did he clean the ice cream machine?
Probably.
I don't
For
know if the
300.
Waffle House would have an ice cream machine.
We'll be back next week, episode 6. I would still want to thank everybody. We're still in the infancy of this, trying to figure out, trying to find our stride. I feel like we're getting better. Less talking over each other. We hear the critiques on social medias and through word of mouth. So I do want to thank everybody for their feedback and their support on this endeavor. We are going to be released on YouTube starting on episode 5.
What?
No video. No video. You don't get to see Uncle Phil's face, but the audio will be released on YouTube. We'll still be on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, Castbox, et cetera, et cetera. I do want to, like I said, I want to thank everybody for support, and we'll be back next week with some more fire for you. Everybody have a good week. Stay safe. Hey, ladies, queens, get away from these bums. Get away from these bums. This world's way too dangerous for you guys, all as it is. You need to find a roster, keep them close. Don't Kaepernick them, don't collude them. Just, you know what I mean? We'll be back next week with some more fire. Have a good week, everybody. You know what else gonna say bye?
Later.
Have a
See
good
you
night.
guys next week.
Have a
Bye,
good
nigga.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.